Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of General Geekery. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is JD.
Hello, and happy 4th of July. It
Happy
is
4th.
Independence Day.
It is 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and I am not working, even though my shirt says otherwise. I got off duty this morning, so uh, got out of there before things really got crazy.
I was gonna say that's
Although I
uh
don't,
get while the getting's good, right?
yeah, no, I didn't. I was gonna look and see how busy it's been because I can see what calls we've gotten. And it's been fairly slow for those guys today. So it was fairly slow yesterday. So I was going to unbox the Joe Fest exclusive Monster Force figure because I uh, bought it the Friday that it came out from somebody that was there, and they sent it, and unfortunately, it didn't show up in time. So for this particular episode, it was supposed to be here yesterday. And the United Postal Service said, fuck you, you'll get it when we feel like it, which apparently is going to be Monday now. So,
Um, Amazon sent my Sergeant Slaughter's Renegades, Taurus, and Red Dog out last Wednesday from Arizona. Prime shipping. It is still not here. It is fucking Saturday, and it will not be delivered until Monday at this point. So I don't know if Independence Day usually is a holiday where things get shipped a lot, so everything slows down. I'm just assuming with the holiday coming up, maybe things haven't moved as much or something because it's just it's kind of annoying. Um,
I mean, right now, one of the reasons that we're podcasting today is because I live in Colorado and my state is on fire right now. There are four or five major wildfires going on right now. The one to the south of me, they just said is the eighth largest fire in Colorado history,
Jesus.
and they said it's only 2,000 acres behind the seventh, and it grew 11,000 acres overnight, and it is 0% contained. So I fully expect that it will become
Jesus.
the seventh largest fire. Probably, if it already isn't, it will be shortly today. Um, it is
Uh,
up to rain here, but I don't think that it is anywhere where there is a big fire in Colorado right now. So
and with that much fire, it's a question of how much will the rain help. Um,
that's
um,
that's the thing, because one of the guys that I work with has done like the wildland fire stuff, and he says when those fires get big enough, they start creating their own weather patterns. That's one of the reasons that they're so unpredictable and so hard to contain is they start creating their own weather, and that's what causes them to spread so much.
what weather is an interesting subject. I
It really is. I really had to I I had to take like a meteorology class when I became a flight medic, and I was like, I thought I knew a lot about weather. Fuck no.
your mom even sent me a article about Bishop's Castle being in the danger zone for the wildfires because
Last I saw yesterday, they said the fire was 2,000 yards away from the castle, which is not very far.
nothing for fire at all because it can it can make a jump and cover that.
Yeah.
Um, the so yeah, it's no joke. So I mean, your state being on fire every summer, it's like California, and it's not out of the ordinary, but
Oh, but we knew it
it
was going to
just
be a bad year because we did not get the normal snow that we normally do. And it was a
ah,
very dry winter, very mild. And if we don't get a lot of snow in the winter, then we have a very dry and dangerous fire season. And so all winter, we're like, it's going to be shitty this summer. It's going to be shitty this summer. It's shitty. Everything's on fire. Luckily, it's not, there isn't anything close to where I live. The fire down south is probably an hour, at least an hour or so away from where I live. So it's not particularly close, a little bit more than an hour away. Um, like the one that was in 2012, where we hadn't moved into this house yet, but this house was evacuated for that fire. And I
Oh.
was in Poland at the time, uh, on an assignment, and I came down to the command center in the morning, and they're like, "We're sending you home." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Your city is on fire." I'm like, "Oh, well, let me call home real quick and make sure it's still there." So
Is
I
that the house Emily had to do most of the moving
uh,
herself?
no, this is the house that she had to do all the moving, but so
Okay.
we're different.
Um,
But I called and I'm like, "Do you need me to come home?" She's like, "Why? To watch the house burn down?" She's like, if it, she had already evacuated the dogs and like keepsakes to my mom's house, who lives further in the city. She's like, if it burns down, you're gonna need a job so we can get a new house. So you might as well just stay there. So yeah, I just stayed in Warsaw and watched the news with everybody else. And they're like,
uh,
or you don't want to go home? And I'm like, my wife, my wife says I don't need to. And we were 4 blocks away from the mandatory evacuation line. So
um, Emily's cynicism cracks me up. Um,
yeah,
she's got a certain way of putting things that it's like, well, you could come home and join me in my misery, or stay there and treat patients and keep making money. Um, she's a realist.
absolutely. And I'm like, well, I hadn't really thought of that, but yeah, she's like, yeah, to come home to watch the house burn down. If it does, we're gonna need a new one, and you'll need a job for that. So might as well just stay there and earn some money. So yeah, so I did not come home for that one. Um, but yeah, it's unfortunately wildfires are a common occurrence in Colorado. So let's see. There was no like significant toy news. I did see that Super 7 has the Visionary figures in stock. I second I saw that they were in stock, I did order them off of the Super 7 site and canceled my Big Bad Toy Store order, hoping that they would get here before today so I could do an unboxing for those today. They haven't even shipped yet.
Jesus. Um, um, that's annoying. Hi, Emily.
Oh, hey. Sorry. I didn't know you walk in.
Oh yeah.
No. Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's pretty wide angle. Yeah.
okay.
We were just talking about your reasonable viewpoint on the world. Um,
Do I have a reasonable viewpoint on the
Well,
world?
we were talking about the fire and the Waldo Canyon fire when I was in Warsaw, and they told me they were going to send me home.
Oh, yes. And you called me in the middle of the night to be like, I'm coming home. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Well, I think it was a little question. Do I need to come home? I'm like, do you want to watch me? Should we stand together and watch the house burn down? Because I don't feel like there would be a point to that.
yeah. See, there you go. That's exactly what I said. So
um,
yeah, and she said, if the house burns down, we're going to need a new one. You're going to need a job for that, so you might as well just stay there.
Stay employed.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah,
was
I feel like
about it.
yeah, it
yeah,
was. Yeah, I did not expect that.
I feel like that's perfectly grounded. The fact I do understand where they were coming from, though. You're like, just in case something happens, we should send you home. But it's like, mm, um,
Picture of Colorado Springs at the time on the media looked like the city was burning down. Like
Yeah,
they did an amazing job
oh,
of making it look like the entire town was on fire. And
yeah,
so anyone looking at the news and not really knowing the reality of the situation, I can kind of understand if they're like, "Oh, that's where you're from. That's a problem. You got to go."
yeah,
So
yeah.
I get it.
Because that's exactly what they said when they said we're sending you home. It's like, why? Your city is on fire. Haven't you seen the news?
Like, phone call, make sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was interesting. Um,
Oh,
so yeah,
well,
super.
luckily I do have something to unbox because
Oh,
UPS delivered my glow in the dark blanket yesterday. So
oh, yeah.
um,
Let's have a look.
all week the projected delivery date was from UPS was yesterday, but I checked anyways in the morning just to see if maybe it had gotten stopped up somewhere, but no. So I at least have something to unbox, um, but the yeah, it was um, yeah, really, it's a holiday. We're home, so figure let's do an episode. Those are bullshit. Um,
Yeah, and like I said, there's nowhere for us to go today because they've canceled all of the fireworks displays because it's just not safe to have them. So, and we don't go out anyway because the dogs freak out. So we will spend this evening down here with music playing loudly so that they can't hear the because that won't stop like the transplants that don't understand that fireworks will catch our state on fire, and there will be idiots lighting stuff off tonight in the neighborhood for sure.
you just hope that none of them are successful in willing the wildfire to come that direction. Um,
My best hope is that they blow their own hands off, but
um, yeah, I saw a meme yesterday that said "Happy Fourth of July" from the emergency department or something, and it was a bunch of X-rays of hands that have been exploded, and
yep, I
it
saw
was
that.
yeah, yeah, I when I saw that I thought of you. I'm like, he's been in emergency, he's worked in emergency rooms when this shit happened, so
You know,
um
I've worked a lot of Fourth of July's and I've never had a like really bad fireworks. Never been on a like really bad fireworks injury.
really
Yeah.
all those years, like not even like as a paramedic, they never called and said, hey, he blew his hand off in the yard.
No, I've worked a lot of Fourth of July's and
I'm surprised by that, honestly, because people are generally dumb. Let's put it this way: about 10 years ago, I went to a Fourth of July picnic. Uh, uh, my my oldest kid was friends with another kid that was the same age, and we went, and they had like they had like the house with the view of the river, and then down by the river is where they had the giant bonfire. And in order to start the bonfire, I watched my friend light Roman candles and launch them at the. And I'm like, I didn't say anything to him, but I'm like, I was sitting there thinking to myself, this is how people start their land on fire by launching Roman candles at the bonfire. I'm like, oh, don't miss.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't. Looking back, I think he might have been a bit of a pyrotechnic, but I just didn't realize it at the time. 10 or 15 years, it was a while ago. But um, yeah, I'm just kind of shocked you never had the you were never lucky enough to deal with that situation.
yeah, surprisingly enough, not. No, a lot of car accidents. A couple years ago, I had like one of the worst heart attacks that I've ever seen. Guy was having chest pain for 3 days and thought it would just go away, and it didn't. And I
Got worse. Yeah.
put him on the cardiac monitor, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're having a heart attack, my friend. You're having a really big one." So we flew him out, but yeah,
They
never.
make it.
Uh, yeah, actually, he did. Surprisingly enough, he did.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good
I
thing you got there when you did, though, just in case.
yeah, no, I he was touch and go for sure. But because I was like, wow. They have this pattern on the EKG. We call it tombstones. He's having that. So that's never a good sign when they're like, oh, you have tombstones on your EKG. So yeah, that's always a bad sign.
A friend of mine, South Carolina, a couple of years ago, she was going to paramedics or to yeah, she was going to paramedic school and she was learning to read those EKGs, and she sent me photos of a couple of the printouts, and she's like, these are what the terms are for. She never mentioned the tombstone thing though, so that's new knowledge for me. Um, um, the I suppose you all have to make jokes to keep things light.
Yeah, you will. Anybody that's been doing this for a long time, they have or any length of time, honestly, has a real interesting sense of humor.
Little dark.
Charcoal.
Um, I do remember Emily talking about your dinner time conversations you used to have about car accidents and shit, though. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess you don't actually miss that part of the job.
I don't. No, because that's not a lot of what I do anymore. So I
Oh,
work as a
now your people got bigger problems.
yeah.
Um,
But a lot of times, like yesterday, if there isn't a ambulance close, I will respond first. So like yesterday, they had a guy that fell and a, got punctured by a stick. So
ouch.
I looked to see where the closest ambulance was, and it was like 20 minutes away. And I'm like, ah, fuck, I better go on that just in case, because they didn't say where he got punctured by the stick. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah,
Um,
I went on that one, and then
wait, where was the puncture? Out of curiosity.
it was in his forearm.
Oh, okay. All right.
He just fell while he was fishing. And then one of the fire departments to the west of us called because they had somebody they thought was having a stroke. And I looked to see where the nearest ambulance was, and it was like 30 minutes away. And I'm like, fuck, all right, I better go on that then too.
Um,
So I still do emergency stuff, but it's not as frequent.
um, yeah, I'm gonna guess that's something of a relief.
Yeah, the I don't miss the stress of it.
Oh, sorry. And the other day, I was scrolling through one of the groups on Facebook, and there was all kinds of like just photo montages, like O-ring Joes, like pictures that people had taken like years ago, and they
Yeah.
were like reposting them, and it made me really feel nostalgic for just discussing the vintage Real American Hero toy line on the show. It's been a while since we did one of those shows. I
It,
didn't have any particular topics in mind. I wanted to talk about it. And then I started to realize that vintage G.I. Joe actually isn't just one era anymore. In fact,
no,
there's three separate eras and almost a fourth. Um,
I
and
would,
I realized,
yeah, I would say
the 60s Joe was vintage when we were kids. And
that's
it's just gotten more vintage over the years. But Real American Hero is
yeah.
what we usually call the vintage line. And that's it's on the threshold of ancient at this point. Um, new sculpt, the GI Joe versus Cobra era, the Spy Troops, the Battle versus Venom, that's vintage at this point. And the 25th anniversary is on the verge of being Vincent or of being vintage now. I mean, it launched in 2007, and when I did that, I'm like, it was really a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I would hesitate to say that anything, I mean, we're getting to the point where anything that is 4 inch and made by Hasbro is should be considered vintage.
that's true because even the last of their modern 4 inch line stuff, that was those were the Toys R Us exclusive 50th anniversary sets, and Toys R Us has been gone across the country for most of the country. That's for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
10 years, I think.
Jesus Christ, that's awful. That's depressing to even think about.
The,
Um,
the rare exception, of course, is like the HasLab, Sky Striker, and then
well, yeah, I would still consider that to be new and modern,
sure,
but
the Transformer
like
crossover stuff, like the Triple T and the Thunder Machine and the Awe Striker and the Hiss Tank. Those I would still consider. I would not consider those vintage, but those are exceptions to the rule for sure, because Hasbro just has pretty much, as near as I can tell, given up on the 4 inch line for G.I. Joe, which
I think once they licensed Super 7 to make the O-ring stuff and just decided that they were going to stick with classified. Yeah, I think that I don't think we're gonna see any more vintagey releases from Hasbro.
Doesn't
There
seem
was a rumor of a larger Transformers crossover set coming out, but nothing's ever come of it.
no.
Um,
The rumor was that it was going to be the character was going to be Optimus Prime. The vehicle that they were going to use was never, I don't think they had gotten that far into it. I just knew
there
that
was a lot of speculation that it was going to be a Mobat or an APC,
I'd
but
heard the APC rumor myself.
it wasn't. It was just that. It was just somebody guessing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to guess it was probably on a list. It was probably on a wish list at Hasbro of this is what we'd like to do with the line going forward, and then just the line just never went forward because they were they got a lot of buzz when those sets came out, but they were a little bit overpriced, and they just never really seemed to. They made a big splash when they were all announced, but they never really seemed to.
Catch on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They don't. They didn't. Once they were announced, once they were in people's hands, there was no more buzz at all. They just sort of came and went, and that's it. So,
I still would
um,
have liked to have seen a HasLab for a new Rattler in the
I would have been all over that because I've never owned a vintage or a blue Cobra Rattler. I had the copper colored one that was a Toys R Us exclusive back in like 2004,
remember
but that
that.
was brittle as hell.
That's
And
heard that.
but I never owned a Rattler before that, and I haven't owned one since. And I was really kind of hoping that a Rattler was going to be the follow up with the Sky Striker because the Sky Striker, I remember, was popular when it was announced and it funded huge.
Yeah.
We got all but one of the stretch goals unlocked.
Yep.
But then 2 years later, once it was finally delivered, that was the end of the fanfare about it. It
Yeah.
doesn't really, the pack in figures, most of them, they don't go for much on the secondary market. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of residual popularity about it. And I wonder if that's why Hasbro said, well, we did some and we tried something, but they're maybe they didn't feel like there was quite enough demand to go back and do another completely new sculpt of a vintage GI Joe toy. It would have been nice to see though.
So yeah, we've been wanting to do, I mean, we have if you really want to go back and look at some of our early earlier uh Real American Hero discussions, we did two different series where we went through each year and we picked like the top two, like what we thought was the top figure in a secondary one from that particular year through like from 82 all the way to
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think we
yeah.
did
I think we picked a favorite Cobra and a favorite Joe from each side
that
and
was
like an
yeah,
honorary. But you're right. We went every episode was a different year, and
yeah,
then I think we followed that up with the
twice.
vehicle show.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
we've only done one vehicle show, but we it
but
was
we went through each year of
yeah,
the Real American Hero line and we picked one because as the Real American Hero line went on, vehicles became um more sporadic, like less not sporadic. What's the word I'm looking for? More um
they weren't as integral to the line as they were.
yeah, they weren't. It was no longer considered a vehicle line with figures.
Yeah.
It was a figure line or a toy line that just happened to have a lot of vehicles in it. But yeah, you're right. We did one episode of that, and then we did but we haven't talked about it in a while, and it kind of occurred to me that I realized we've gotten so many updates in classified of the Real American Hero stuff that I'm like, I'm struggling to come up with early figures that they have not done classified versions of. And I've realized in most cases, if they're not done, it's because they're vehicle drivers and they just haven't released them yet.
It's funny you should say that because I was trying to think about that the other day on like what has and has not been done um
It's
for each each year. So I mean like 82 with Flash coming out, that'll pretty much do it for the carded figures.
Yeah, because once Flash and Grand Slam are in hands,
Yeah.
that is all of 83. And uh I think that only leaves one or two because Tan Clutch is coming out
Hmm.
with the vintage with the Desert Vamp, and I think he was 83. I don't know what's left from 83 to be made.
Nothing, I don't think. All the stuff from 83 has been there's figures for all of the there's
Okay.
classified
All
for
right.
everything in
I
80.
thought so, but then I wasn't entirely certain.
Uh,
Um,
84, we still need the original colored ripcord, which really surprises me we haven't seen that even on a retro card yet.
yeah, me too. I'm surprised by that too. I
I,
kind of
I'm not
figured that him
counting.
and Crazy Legs would come out, if not the same time. I figured they'd both get announced within the same time frame, but Crazy Legs got announced, has been released, and there's nothing about Ripcord yet.
Yeah. And I'm not counting vehicle drivers as of yet because those seem to be
Other than Copperhead, I don't think we've gotten most of them. Um,
well, Deep Six is coming out.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have the Stinger driver, the Tan Clutch is coming out, Wild Weasel's out. Zartan technically is considered a vehicle driver because he came with
Oh,
the.
yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
So I mean, we actually do have most of the vehicle drivers from like 84, but they it's funny that you
Oh,
should.
we still need Thunder, damn it.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna say Thunder's the other one from 84 that's not out. But it's kind of an interesting mix on what they're doing because some of these figures are coming out with vehicles and some of them are coming out it with HasLab projects and some of them are coming out just independent. Because I mean, like Deep Six is coming out and my dogs are going absolutely apeshit crazy right now.
yeah. With Deep Six, they're very much treating it like it's an oversized dive suit with like robotic limbs and shit. And it's almost like they're like he is his own transport now. Um, and then like yeah, because Copperhead was released the same year. He's the only one that came without his vehicle. But yeah, I think is Thunder the only one that's outright missing?
Yeah,
Okay. And Thunder's a character that when I was a kid, I didn't much care for him. In fact, I
neither.
remember actively disliking the figure. And now as I get older, not only do I appreciate the character more, I look at the vintage figure and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not crazy about the feet still, but
Yeah.
otherwise, I don't know what my problem was with Thunder. He's definitely one that I've grown into over the years, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing a classified version of him whenever that happens. I don't think they'll make the slugger, but it would be
Uh,
interesting.
yeah.
No,
Uh,
I don't think they will, but
I don't I don't think Hasbro will. I definitely can see it. There's enough people doing 3D prints of all of the vehicles that I don't they're
oh,
made.
somebody will be printing up a
Yeah,
6-inch slugger.
yeah.
I over the years I've probably seen a couple of them, but yeah, I don't think Hasbro will do a
No.
slugger.
Eighty
I
five,
wouldn't argue if they did, but
85 aside, like I said, I'm not counting vehicle drivers in this yet, but 85 we have all of the figures from 85. 86 we soon will have all of the figures from 86 once Iceberg's in hand. That's the whole year for 86. 87 um
87 is where we start to see much bigger gaps.
yeah, we've got Fast Draw, which I still think is gonna be a deluxe figure at some point in time. They
Oh
have
yeah,
to do a Fast Draw. I
oh
just
yeah.
don't do it as well as they did Metalhead. Gung Ho version 2. I think that seems a reasonable one. Um, they did announce Sneak Peek. It's not the original
Psych out.
Psych Out.
Psych out.
Psych Out. I keep saying that. Psych Out. Sneak Peek is the big one from '87 that we haven't seen though.
Yeah, that's true. Sneak peek's missing. Fast draw's missing.
Original Psych Out and
Yeah.
uh, Gung Ho version 2. 88, let's see here. 88's huge. There's a ton of figures that we haven't seen from 88. Astro Viper. Um, oh, let's see. Blizzard, obviously. Um, Charbroil. Hardball. That's one that surprises me that we haven't seen.
Hardball and Spearhead are both on my wish list still.
Lightfoot. Muskrat. Repeater.
You know what? I'm actually really surprised that they haven't done Muskrat. I'm really surprised they haven't done Muskrat.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't done any of the ones that I'm naming.
I thought for sure when they started to put 88 stuff out,
What do we
I
got there?
don't know why, but I just figured that Muskrat would show up early.
What's that?
Oh,
Good to Tom's stats.
what is that?
Shirts.
Unbox it.
All right. Yeah, no, this is
Gotta have something to unbox for the show.
yeah. I gotta I gotta
That's amazing.
yeah, I fucking love that. I saw that and I'm like, I gotta have that fucking shirt. I,
Um,
I mean, where else are you gonna see a Conan Sound of Music mashup?
Never. I've never even imagined such a thing
No.
before.
So yeah, I was
Um,
wondering where those goddamn shirts were because they shipped like a week ago, and I'm like, well, so yeah, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised we haven't seen um the Astro Viper. I'm not surprised we haven't seen Blizzard. Um, I'm sort of surprised we haven't seen Charbroil. I'm really surprised we haven't seen Hardball, um, especially before some of the other figures that we have gotten. Lightfoot, I'm I don't
or
know.
Lightfoot. He's one of those characters that, if I think of 1988 specifically, he'll usually pop into my mind. But if I think of G.I. Joe overall, he's one of those characters I always forget about.
Yeah,
But really, even amongst 1988, I guess I guess he's one that I usually forget about.
Repeater is one.
Blizzard too. I don't know why, but they
I love
just
Blizzard. I thought Blizzard was a fantastic figure when I was a kid.
Blizzard had a shitload of gear when I was a kid, and it always made me really wish that his helmet was as cool as it looked in the card art, because it was just sort of poofy. And I know what they were going for, but they couldn't really capture, because he had this cool like hybrid ski mask helmet thing that had the toy didn't capture it very well. And he's one that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing in classified, because I want to see if the helmet is captured accurately, more like the file card art.
I
And I
think
really hope it is,
I
because
can't see them screwing that up.
no, neither can I. But I want to see him knock it out of the park, because some of the other vintage stuff that we've seen huge, great upgrades for, like Frag Viper, Techno Viper, um, the these are ones that I want to see them do it.
89,
We
Annihilator.
have lots of 89 missing.
Yeah. Annihilator, Backblast, Countdown. That's where the DJ, so you start seeing the Battle Force 2000 guys. Deep Six version 2, I'm not surprised about that one. Downtown, I'm kind of surprised a little, not really. Heat Viper, that's definitely one I'm surprised we don't have. Recoil,
I'm
uh,
surprised the Heat Viper hasn't been announced.
yeah,
I'm sure it's in the pipeline. I'm surprised it hasn't been announced.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that it gets announced next year. We'll see if I'm right about that. Rock and Roll version 2, that's one I'm surprised we haven't seen yet.
It's only a matter. If we see Dusty version 3, we're guaranteed to see Rock and Roll version 2 at some point. We just, they gotta, I guess, yeah, they gotta, what's left, especially, they gotta keep spreading it out to keep the line going. Um,
Scoop, Snake Eyes version 3, Stalker version 2, uh, Target.
Stalker version 2 is on my wish list for classified eventually, too.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that would be
a deluxe set with him and his kayak
yeah,
would be would be amazing.
yeah, I think it would be fantastic as well. Target, I would love to see what they're going to do with that.
They have to do the target. I have to think he's in the pipeline somewhere.
I do too,
Um,
especially with how attentive they've been to the Iron Grenadiers figures. In 1990, Ambush, uh, Bullhorn, Captain Gridiron. I don't know about that one. Free Fall, Laser Viper,
I
um,
don't think they need to make Captain Gridiron, but I would
Pathfinder,
be curious what
Rampage.
how they would do it.
Yeah, it's
He's a
funny.
curiosity for me.
Yeah,
I guess he's kind of one of those where they don't they don't need to remake him. Like nobody ever he never had to get an update of any kind.
yeah.
But then the club did one and they dropped the proverbial football on that one. They fumbled it. And I'm just kind of curious if is he on a possibility list at Hasbro? Is there anybody at Hasbro that actually wants him in the line? He's just one of those characters. He's a big curiosity.
I
Uh,
I have to think that he is probably like name only in the pipeline kind of thing, just because it's so weird and we've gotten some really interesting choices and clearly nothing is off the table as far as characters.
he and Hardball are the only sports guys that we haven't gotten. So,
Yeah.
um, although I'm not counting the refrigerator Perry, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see a new refrigerator Perry. William the refrigerator Perry is old and well, he was relevant then coming off the 85 Super Bowl championship Chicago Bears, but the fridge is not a relevant character anymore.
I don't I could see for some sort of like anniversary nostalgia type of thing, but beyond that, I don't see it happening. But
Yeah.
I
But you're right. The other two guys, the sports guys, we got two left, and I can see maybe they haven't done them yet, but I think you're right. Captain, he's probably in the pipeline somewhere. Um,
let's see, Rampart, Rock Viper, um, Salvo, Stretcher, Sub-Zero, Topside, Undertow. I mean,
Jesus, they really are missing a lot in 1990. Wow.
there's more there's more figures that haven't been made than have been made. So the only ones that we do have for 1990 are Metalhead, Night Creeper, Range Viper, Saw Viper. That's it.
Jesus. Um, shit. I guess it really is. So basically, we're missing everything from GI Joe from that year. Um,
Yeah.
and that's again that doesn't even count. Yeah, mailways or vehicle drivers or any of that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's probably unrealistic to expect a lot of the 1990s stuff to get classified, but I do think a lot of the stuff that was originally like first time releases in the 90s, I think a lot of that stuff will get done. Aside of Dusty version 2, I wonder if he's like a test. I wonder if they want to see what
Well,
is the demand for so
let's
many of these other 90s remake characters.
let's look at 1991 for a minute because Big Ben was in there. We already have that. We have the Desert Scorpion. We have Dusty version 3 coming out. Um, was Overkill that year?
Yeah. Uh
No. Yes. No.
91 Talking Battle Commanders, I think.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Or maybe he's 92. Yeah, he might be 92.
It's 92. Snake Eyes version 3. So I mean there's heavy duty. I mean there's a lot of figures that have been done from 1991. There's more figures from 91 that have been done than there are from 90.
Weird. Um, um,
That's there are a couple that I'm curious to well, I mean they are doing Dusty version 3, so that makes me wonder, will we see a like a low light version 2? Will we see a Mercer version 2? Because those both came out that year
if
too.
we if they make a low light from 1991, who is my favorite vintage figure,
Sci-fi
if they
version
make him in classified,
Snow Serpent version 2 was that year. I mean, there was
yeah, if they
a lot
make
of
that
remakes that
that
year.
low light in classified, I will fall over from shock. Um,
You know,
I would like to see what they would do with that version of the Snow Serpent though, because I love the classified Snow Serpent. Updating the 85 version, they did a great job.
yeah,
I would like to see them eventually do the
version 2.
91 Snow Serpent, make him like a division of the Snow Serpents or something. Give him a different purpose and and call it some kind of specialized Snow Serpents would actually be interesting to me.
Tracker. I don't
I don't see it
Tracker
happening.
happening,
Um,
but I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that would really shock me anymore. Just after the last couple of months of announcements, I don't I don't know that there's anything that would shock me. 92, we don't really have anything from 92. Um,
Headman has not been announced, but he has been mentioned on
yeah,
the file card for the Sundown character. So, as far as I'm concerned, mentioning him specifically on the file card more than once, that's 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 an unofficial announcement that Headman's getting updated, which he's one of the first legitimate surprises for me because the DEF at the time was seen as propaganda
yeah,
because it
absolutely.
was,
Yeah,
and it wasn't particularly popular then. I do remember people had a lot of the figures and we loved them. I had Bulletproof, I had Mutt, I had Cutter. In fact, I had the whole first assortment with the light up weapons. I had all of them. They are not a group of characters that I expected had a realistic chance at classified, but the fact that they've delved into it and they actually went with Headman of all the characters, I'm like, hmm, interesting.
one of the things that I noticed, I don't think that we talked about on the show for the Yojo June was they really hinted that they were going to look at the Eco Warrior stuff too. So when they
Um,
when they unveiled the painted prototype for the Toxo Viper, they hinted that there would be more Eco Warrior stuff coming. So
which means they're probably in the pipeline somewhere. Which means if we don't get an announcement at San Diego Comic Con or name only releases or whatever, or name only reveals, maybe they're saving it for next year.
92, of course, the big one that I'm looking forward to that I hope is coming is the Flak Viper.
I need a Flak Viper in classified. If classified Flak Viper turned out to be uh, the last army builder they were announcing and making, I would still be happy that it was going out on that. The
And
Flag Viper is just a character. It's just a troop that I simply need to see what they would do with him in classified because he's a big burly figure in the vintage line. He would be so amazing in classified. I drool to even think of it.
it's one of the last two figures that we need to complete the Flaming Moth set. So I
Ah, yes.
I would really like to put a Flaming Moth set together, and quite honestly, I would be surprised if they do all the figures and Hasbro doesn't do a flaming moth set at some point in time?
Some kind of a yeah, some kind of update of it would be interesting, even if they change things up a little bit. I would like to see what they would do with the paint jobs.
I would too. Firefly version 2 is a big one that I think we'll see at some point in time. Uh, then you start to get into the more interesting sculpts and colorizations, specifically like eel version 2. Not a particular the accessories are what made that figure interesting.
If it wasn't for the robot shark, I don't think he'd be one that I would celebrate, but that robot shark made that release for me. But I would like to see a classified robot shark. I do not need it to include a version 2 eel. Um
Well,
I would be cool with it coming out some other way. They probably wouldn't, but
I
I want
think that they could do if they made it because if you look at the figure, if you discount the interesting colorization of the figure, it's a very like futuristic sci-fi dive armor. I could see them doing something like that. And
that's a good point.
and I think it would be an interesting figure if they toned down the colors, which they have done on some of the more historically brightly colored figures. They've toned those colors down. The Toxo Viper, for instance, the Saw Viper. Um, I don't know. I think an EO version 2 has a lot of potential there as a like futuristic undersea water like
They do
armor.
have a cool helmet. I would like to see that recreated in the
That's one of the ones that you're always good at pointing out that you wish the figure matched the card art. EO version 2 is one of those that the figure did not touch the card art on that.
that's true.
So
That's
I
true.
I
Because honestly, if you look at the Hydro Viper, that's as much.
yeah.
That is as I almost think that was more based on the card art than the figure itself. Because when I saw comparisons between the figure, the classified figure and the vintage figure, I realized. I mean, obviously they went with the darker purple, and that was kind of expected. But
Yeah.
he's just he's so much more detailed. The colors are so much more saturated, like they're so much more bold that I'm like, he looks more like the card art
Yeah.
than he does the figure. And that's okay because that gives me hope for the Toxo Viper and the Eel version 2. Because the Toxo Viper version 2 had sick card art and a
Yes.
very lackluster Eco Warriors release figure. He was just they didn't match that figure didn't capture any of the coolness of his card art. And
Agree.
for that matter, I don't think the Sludge Viper really did either. So
No.
um, I do imagine Cesspool is probably in
Yeah.
there in
That's
the pipeline already. I imagine Interrogator probably is too. I'm kind of surprised that the Interrogator hasn't already been announced. You know?
yeah. Same cesspool would be the one that I'm surprised they haven't done an announcement for. And I think that just based off the hints, I think that is a high probability that we'll see him within the next couple years, I'll bet. Because I mean, they made it sound like they were gonna start looking at that particular sub team.
Hopefully they have because
I mean,
I'd
all,
love to see what they would do with it.
they've done all of the Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders now. So
Yeah.
they've done most of Tiger Force. Python Patrol's been kind of hit or miss. I'm not really surprised by that because I mean there's several different iterations of Python Patrol. I mean it's not just one. There's been several different styles of Python Patrol. I'm not a big fan of the Real American Hero one, but that six pack that they did for the Toys R Us line is just phenomenal. I love
I
those.
was really hoping that that Python Patrol Major Blood from that Toys R Us set,
Yeah.
I was really hoping that even if, because he was mostly Zap, even if they used a bunch of different parts, I was really hoping to see a Python Major Blood in classified.
I think
Um,
with them having a Major Blood figure, I can't see them. I mean, repaints are Hasbro's low-hanging fruit. Let's be honest. So
Absolutely.
I don't see them skipping that one, and they have done Python Patrol stuff. Um, most of Ninja Force is done. Um, so I think Eco Warriors, and they've already mentioned Headman, like you were saying. So I think we'll see a lot of the DEF stuff come out, which I'm looking forward to. The Headhunter Stormtrooper,
I
which
was gonna, yeah, you know what? I was just thinking to myself, yeah, if they're making Headman, I'm sure the Headhunters are there too.
yeah,
And I doubt they're gonna leave the Headhunter Stormtrooper out.
no. And to me, that particular figure, well, I have favorite figures. I think that is my favorite sculpt.
Oh, yeah.
The Real American Hero line is just a phenomenal figure. It just
It is
sculpt.
it is badass from top to bottom. Um, like head to toe, that figure is sick.
Luckily,
And it would be even more interesting if they classified it.
yeah, I have to think with them announcing Headman that we're gonna see that's the next big like sub team that we're gonna see stuff for is the DEF stuff. Um 93, I mean, geez, most of that's I don't say most of it's repaints. A lot of it's repaints.
I don't see 93 or 94 getting much love in classified. I'm okay with it. I love that stuff, but if a lot of that stuff gets ignored, that's okay. It's not,
Yeah.
there's, I mean, if nothing else, they might look at later figures like the Army Builders and they'll at least do those. Like the 94 Viper would be real interesting to see in classified.
I
I've never felt that it was a great update to the Cobra Viper.
yeah.
Um, the club did a better job when they repainted him as the Iron Anvil, Iron Grenadier Paratroopers.
Yeah.
Not that Hasbro would do that, but I don't know if they would go with the 94 Viper, but if they did, I'd be curious to see how they would do it.
I
Um,
would be surprised if we don't get a 94 Viper, quite honestly.
um, yeah, it's funny though, because you mentioned the Annihilator the other day, and that got me thinking. That was kind of a I I distinctly remember getting that figure and immediately thinking to myself, the from the side of this figure, he looks like a duck. And I love ducks; they're one of my favorite animals. But it's not a very imposing profile for an enemy trooper helmet. I would love to see what Class 5 would do just to make it more realistic, making a little more cutting edge. Because I really love what they did with the Toxo Viper's helmet.
Yeah.
They scaled it down a little bit, painted it so it wasn't quite so
Garish.
garish, and yeah, it really made me look forward to seeing what they would do with like the Annihilator, because he's another one. Even amongst Destro's troops, I usually forget about those guys, but you brought him up in the text the other day, and I'm like, it made me wonder how they would pull that off because he was like the helicopter backpack was really cool. Um,
I fully expect that we'll have an Annihilator. My guess is they will do so here's my guess of what's going to happen for Annihilator is they will do something similar to what they did when they did the new sculpt for the Annihilator. So what they did for the new figure for those that have don't have one um is they took they took the Lamprey's helmet, which had a translucent faceplate,
Okay.
and recolored in Annihilator colors.
All right, that's actually pretty
Worked.
cool. Hey, speaking
Worked
of which,
well.
we don't have a lamprey in the classified line. Still
Yeah,
on my
like I
wish list.
said, I wasn't gonna talk about vehicle drivers. I think just because there's no rhyme or reason to what Hasbro's doing with the vehicle drivers. Some of them are coming with vehicles, some of them are coming single carded. It's anybody's guess. Do I think we will see most of the vehicle drivers? Absolutely, because a lot of those are integral characters to the mythos in and of itself that we have to get a figure of that particular character, regardless if there's a vehicle to go with it or not.
Yeah, we might not get a Tomahawk helicopter, but we will get a lift ticket
Yeah.
figure. Um, lift ticket. I mean, we got him. We got him early on in the 25th line too. I think he came with the Skyhawk or something. It was some. It was a little vehicle, but yeah, Slipstream probably lift ticket. Yes. Um, because if they ever do make a larger helicopter, um, then they'd have a then Wild Bill would have a place too, because he always flew alongside Lift Ticket in the comics when they flew the Tomahawk. So yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll see Lift Ticket it at the very least. Not with not. I don't see them making a Tomahawk. I could be wrong, but I'd
No,
rather see a Havoc. Um,
and again, I think that there any vehicle will be available to be had in classified scale thanks to 3D printing. I know that I've already seen people doing classified scale tomahawks, so I know that they're out there. And I think that's just going to get more prolific, and it's honestly it's going to be the only way to go for any of those mid to large size vehicles. I saw somebody was working, they were showing it at Joe Fest. They've got the conning tower done for a classified scale uh, flag.
Jesus Christ, how big is that going to be?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's going to take up a whole fucking room. Um,
I don't see
in
the
fact, they're going to need a large room to put it in. Um,
I have a
Jesus
room large.
Christ.
Yeah, I have a room large enough to put it in, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get it. And yeah, you're gonna have to have 3D your own 3D like large scale 3D printing capabilities to make that sort of thing. There is no way.
Fucking deck plates alone.
Yeah. The
Um,
the deck plates for they're gonna have to figure out a better way to make that more modular to just even print it and put it together, let alone compared to how the original was, because the deck plates for the original one are insanely
they're massive.
yeah, they're
Um, yeah, I don't. You couldn't 3D print that without having a huge facility. Um, the but I mean, whether they do a lot of vehicles going forward or not, yeah, like you said, most of those drivers we're gonna get them. I would particularly love to see Skid Mark. Um, I saw one response to the Vamp Mark II that came out that said instead of tan clutch, I wish that they had used this as the opportunity to make Skid Mark instead of having to do a Desert Fox. And I'm like, I can see that argument. I like it, but that's because I think I want a Skid Mark figure more than anything else.
yeah.
But I think more people, I think a lot of that would have led to a lot of bitching and moaning if
I-
it wasn't tan clutch.
Yeah, I
Um,
would have too. I don't think that would have gone over very well.
no, because a
I
lot of people complained that they didn't like the Ostriker, and they complained that
yeah, striker.
um, crankcase was stuck behind the paywall because a lot of people said that they would want a crankcase, but they would want a more traditional crankcase. So a lot of people I've seen pictures of 3D printed Strikers that are a lot closer to the vintage one with the classified crankcase driving it. And I, yeah, I really, um, yeah, I think people would have gone nuts if anybody but Clutch was with the vamp. But I don't, God, I'd love to see a Desert Fox, but it's not necessary as long as they give a skid mark at some point. Um,
Well, I don't know about that one.
um, but I've been a fan since I was a kid though, so maybe I'm just biased.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that we tend to see are ones that had a like a large presence either in the comics or in the cartoon, and Skidmark never had.
No, he didn't, which is why it makes him unrealistic, but it leaves him in my hope for it. Like, but he's way away from like where I say I'm pretty sure we'll get lift ticket. I can't say that about any of the other vehicle drivers really. Other than I've seen more than one rumor about the Mobat or not the Mobat, the MBT,
Yeah,
the Mauler. I wonder if they're planning that because GI Joe does need a tank, and while we have Steeler, let him co-pilot the Mauler with heavy metal. Because we didn't get a Mauler in the 25th line, but they did give us heavy metal with a repaint in the Rise of Cobra line. I think he had a repaint of some obscure vehicle from like DTC. I think.
I don't remember.
Um, I don't remember what any of those DTC vehicles were called, but I think there was a repaint of him with Metalhead, or that they it was supposed to be Metalhead, but he had some fucked up code name because of trademarks, I think.
Would that had been like the Rolling Command Center or the Rhino?
Yeah, it was one of those things, I think.
'Cause
Um,
I'm trying to think what vehicles came out in the DTC line. There was a Hummer, a couple Hummers, Humvees, and the Rolling Command Center, which was really cool. I wish I still had mine. And the Rhino, which was really cool. The
which one had the little? There was one that had a little helicopter
That
that
was
looked
the
like
Rhino.
it was created by Batman, and it launched and it would take off from the middle of the vehicle, and
Yeah,
then the rest of the vehicle was
the APC
like
from
a super armored carrier,
yeah, it
it.
was the APC from Aliens.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was very clearly inspired by the. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna say the thing in Aliens, but
that was the Rhino.
um, okay, yeah, because
I
a
had
version of heavy metal was released with him. So somehow, some way, those vehicle drivers from 85 and 84, 85, 86, they'll get figures. I'm not sure that later vehicle drivers will. Um,
I'm curious to see if they'll do his Ace version one.
I would love that. He was a figure that when I was a kid, I had no appreciation for. He looked, I never understood why he had a spacesuit. Much later, I realized that he was based on like early prototype, cutting edge technology. And I'm like, all right, he's one that I definitely appreciate now as an adult. Didn't back then. I don't know how they would do him in classified, but I would like to see it. Um,
Yeah, I don't know, there was not another heavy metal figure. They did Rampage, obviously, which was just a repaint, and then they did one called Speed Metal in 2009, which came out in the three pack.
oh, I remember. He was wearing the Delta 6 accelerator suit
Yeah,
from the Rise of Cobra movie. Oh, that's right. His file name was Sherman Guerin. So yeah, he was supposed to be heavy metal, but he wasn't. Oh, that's right. He called him speed metal. I was like, what the fuck? Um, wait, did Alice just bark?
yeah. The
What?
neighbors are throwing a party, so
Ah,
all
oh,
my
that'll do it. Okay.
stupid
Um,
shit because they are not used to having people in the we live in a cul-de-sac, so anytime there's anybody there, the dogs just go ape shit. Luckily, you can't hear them on the podcast, I don't think. So,
No, I can't hear anything. No.
yeah. So,
Um,
luckily, the computer filters it out because they've been going ape shit for the last half an hour. I'm about ready to strangle all four of them, all three of them.
we've got people in the houses, a couple down at the corner of the street there. I'm actually really surprised today. It isn't all loud music and cars parked. It will be later, but I'm surprised it hasn't been because usually in the summertime there's a lot of loud music and it's like it's a holiday. I thought for sure that'd be going on today, but it's relatively quiet out there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
So, hopefully they'll calm down. Izzy does not take well to having visitors in the neighborhood that are not approved by her, and nobody is approved by Izzy. So,
um,
so yeah, that's, I mean, getting into the later years, that's definitely, you know, I think it's going to be hit or miss anything after 1990, but I think anything previous to that, I think we're going to see figures for everybody at some point in time.
how many vehicles from like 88, 89 do you have? I know you've got like the Cobra Condor, but like, do you have the Joe vehicles too? Like
Let
the
me
the
see.
Raider, the Mean Dog.
I do
Um,
a Raider. I do
I've
have a
never owned one. I've never seen Raider. The Raider is one of those that I've seen it at toy shows, but I've otherwise never seen one up close. I've never seen one in person.
let's see here.
Um,
Let me pull up the vehicle list. 3 and 3/4. So yeah, pick a year.
88.
88. So what came out in 88? The Cobra Adder. I do not have one of those. The
Oh, I always liked that vehicle.
Cobra Battle
I
Barge. I
don't
did
think I realized that came out in 88.
I
I
did
think
have
I
a
always think that's a later release.
I do not currently. Cobra Bug. I do have a Cobra
Oh
Bug.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, Imp came out that year. I don't have an Imp. The Stellar Stiletto came out that year. I do have one of those. Desert Fox. I don't have a Fox. I have a Mean Dog, but it's not complete. I used parts of that on a custom. Um, Phantom came out that year. I do have a Phantom. I tried to customize it. It didn't come out very well. Uh, the Rolling Thunder, which yes, I have one. It's sitting here. It needs to be reassembled. Um,
Oh, that's right. You're in the middle of a restoration or something on that, right?
yeah,
Like
it
you're building it out, like you're piecing it together, right?
yeah. I took it apart, cleaned it up, and I'm just in the process of putting it back together.
That's one I've never owned. I my friend of mine had it when we were a kid. I remember seeing that thing on Yo Joe later and realizing that my friend didn't have a he had the vehicle. He didn't have a lot of the things that went with the vehicle.
Yeah.
I remember being surprised later looking at it on Yo Joe and I'm like, huh, doesn't look like I realized it was gonna look because
Ah,
I didn't realize how little of that vehicle the kid had left. He had a garage full of shit. I don't think he knew what he had.
Sky Storm came out that year. I don't have one of those. Swamp Smasher, no. The Warthog came out. I had a Warthog at one point in time. I don't now. The AGP came out. I do have one of those. The Demon came out. I do have one of those. Despoiler, I don't know if I have a Despoiler right now.
I'm jealous of the demon. I've never owned one. Um,
Yeah, no, I was super stoked to get that one. I got it complete. It's in great shape. It's not missing anything. I don't have a good ferret for it though. The one I got from a buddy of mine, and he gave me a really good deal on it, and I didn't realize why until I got it home and saw that it was just a piece of shit figure. So
of all the Iron Grenadier characters that they created and all the troopers, I feel like the ferret's the most boring of them. Um, Very cool vehicle with a
I would
driver that
I
just
would argue
couldn't
that
match the coolness.
I would argue that Wild Boar is more of a 4.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, I do not like that figure at all. That was a hard one for me to buy. Um, because I'm in the process of, so I have most of the specialty Vipers. The only ones that I don't have in my collection are like really, really super rare convention exclusive stuff. Um, so I've been going back and getting individual Cobras and Real American Hero figures, or not Real American, Iron Grenadier figures. And when I bought Wild Boar, it's like, well, it's a really good deal. He did it. They are really hard to get without the paint worn off the nose because of the faceplate.
oh yeah.
So this one had an intact nose and it was a good price. And it was really hard to pass up. So I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, that was one of those vehicle drivers that, yeah, they're real hard to get. You can't find this helmet very, and yeah, you're right. They're hard to get in good shape because the whole face was painted. So, and the goggles were painted. Can't tell you how many of those I've seen where the only flesh left is like the lips, the mouth. All the rest of it has been worn off, scraped off. I don't know. It's and yeah, he's not one I'm even curious about a classified version either. Um, bland design, bland figure. Hmm. Um,
Yeah, no, the Ferret is a much superior figure. For 89, you got the Arctic Black.
agreed.
I don't have one of those. I do have a Condor. I have a couple Condors actually. I customized one. Um, the Fang 2, Hiss 2, I do have a Hiss 2. Um, the Crusader, I don't have a Crusader, although I do have a Defiant. The Devastator, the Radar Rat, the Raider, I do have a Raider. Thunderclap came out that year. I have a Thunderclap.
That
Um,
was what
Mud
is the
Fighter, I don't have a
Devastator?
Mud Fighter. Triblaster, I don't have that. Um, Razorback came out that year. I sort of have a Razorback. I have a complete one that I was gonna customize in Iron Grenadier colors, and it never happened. So, um, there are some really cool vehicles from the Slaughter's Marauders that year, though. They re
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they're all reworked versions of old vehicles. They
yeah,
gave them all. There's what, three of them, and they all have new equipment attached. Like, uh,
they redid the Armadillo to have missile launchers. It looks a little awkward because the missile launchers are so big compared to the rest of the tank, but I really like it. The Equalizer, which is probably one of my favorite GI Joe vehicles, that thing is just an amazing piece. And then the Lynx, which has like the basically it's the cannon off the Mauler on a Wolverine body and
okay, what's the middle one you mentioned? The
the Equalizer. So that's
equalizer.
yeah, that's another Wolverine body with I don't I think that was all like the turret was all new on the
Okay, yeah, I'm having trouble remembering it. But
I had a complete one at one point in time.
I've
Uh,
never owned any of them. They look awesome, but I've never owned any of those vehicles. I've had all the figures when I
yeah,
was a kid. I have most of them in classified now, but I don't. I have never did not own the vehicles then. Do not own them now. Would like to own them,
yeah.
but
Now the Equalizer, I had one and then customized it and then donated it for gosh, somebody was doing it like a charity auction. So I donated it to be auctioned off as a
oh, okay, that's cool.
charity auction. And then that Equalizer, man, that is a hard one to put together to get complete.
Which is why I never owned one as an adult either.
Yeah, I
Um,
have one, but I did get a second one, but I don't think my second one's complete. I think it's missing parts too. We can go in the other room and look actually.
look at
So,
all those red and gold Iron Man figures you just passed.
yeah, so um yeah, so I haven't done a So
Jesus.
this is the new display.
You know, I've seen pictures of it, but it's overwhelming to see on video, anyways. Holy shit, dude. I didn't realize there were that many. Good God.
Yeah, no, this
Holy shit.
yeah, the loose figure collection got pretty big.
Uh, wow. Shit. Hey, there's a tomahawk. There's a robo skull. There's
Yeah,
two robo skulls.
and there's my flag.
Um,
And then so yeah, the downstairs, I need to do another walkthrough of the downstairs. It's just not quite to the point where it's ready to be walked through yet with video. Uh, and then like here's all the vehicle, all my planes are hanging from the ceiling.
oh, that's right. You did an all black Cobra Condor.
Yeah. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I know you did that restoration on the vintage one, and it looked beautiful. But
my Defiant is over there on the table.
oh yeah,
I've got the rolling command center here. It was in a bad place on the floor and has taken a lot of damage. Um, and then this is my vehicles set up now.
oh sweet. All right.
So it's just modular shelves.
Ooh, avalanche tank.
Yeah, I love that thing. That thing's a fun vehicle to play with. That was
My
probably the
friend had one as a kid. I never owned one, but God, I love playing with that thing.
yeah, I think that was the last major vehicle that I bought um when I was a kid was the Avalanche.
I had the Rage and I had the GI Joe Locust from that year. That was it. I didn't have any of the other vehicles. So
That Locust
um,
is a fun one too.
um
I love that. I had that one too. And I had the Rage as well. The Rage, so I had a
the
couple.
Rage was one of my favorite vehicles when I was a kid. God, I love that vehicle. Um,
But yeah, I need to. It's getting close to the point where I'm ready to do another walkthrough video. So, but every time I get something done, then it's like, I need to change this up. So,
you know, like I said, I've seen photos of a lot of that stuff in the other room. But when they're just photos, even if it's a bunch of photos, it's hard to imagine them as a continuous like and seeing it on video and seeing that wall, then that curved wall, and then that angled, and then another wall, and they're all covered in figures.
yeah,
Dude, it's impressive and frankly a little overwhelming. Um, you
it's
ever
pretty cool to
just
see
get
it.
sensory overload looking at it?
Yeah, because I think I measured it out. It's about 14 feet of wall. And then the shelves are 8 deep, and the 6 inch figure shelves will hold 2 deep on each shelf, and the 4 inch figures will hold 3 deep on each shelf, or 3 or 4 deep on each shelf.
Jesus.
So I mean, I want to count them at some point in time, see how many figures are out there. But that is going to be it will take me a day to do it, I'll bet, to
Um,
count all the figures that are out there.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how many times I would lose count, even just getting part of the way into that room. Holy shit.
Yeah, and that's what's stopped me from doing it is like, what do I do if I lose count in the middle of it? So, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do that just yet. I want to find out how many are out there. I really do, but I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna happen. And I want to have some sort of like organizational process to it as well, because I want to be able to find quickly figures when I'm looking for them. And that's
Yeah.
really hard to do with like my Cobra collection, because it starts right here and it goes all the way around on all 4 walls, and then down to the next shelf here. and back around.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't go. It's not two lengths. It's just one and then like 1 1/4. So I mean, that's how many
You
Cobra.
need a Serpentor figure just to command all those troops.
I have the Super 7 Serpentor out there. I do not have a vintage
Uh,
Serpentor.
you know what? Even the little guy though, he still yells this I command, and I bet some of them still listen. Um,
Probably. Um, just Serpentor is one that it's really hard to get with a good cape.
yeah, yeah, because the vintage one I had, I don't even know how I don't know how long I had the cape for, but I distinctly remember having him without the cape for much longer than I ever had the cape for. So, in fact, I don't really remember mine having a cape. I just assumed it must have because I remember buying that set from Kmart and opening it for for it was fresh. So I Serpentro must have had his cape at some point, but in my memory, the cape didn't exist.
I was
So,
very careful with mine because I was old enough to have the original um, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia with the vinyl capes.
so you didn't so you did you so you had them, they weren't ripped.
Oh no, they were ripped.
Oh yeah, okay, because I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah,
I don't none of my vintage figures had their vinyl tapes.
yeah. No,
um
by the I had those figures. Those were probably some of my first action figures because my dad bought the I'm pretty sure my dad bought that Sears set that had all of them that you got
okay.
that they gave the rain check to because I had all of the first wave at one point at one time. So I think my dad got that set. Um, gosh, I wish I had that back but um I was not too gentle with those figures, uh being young and playing with my toys a lot. But so yeah, my vinyl capes on my original vintage Star Wars figures tore pretty quickly. So by the time I moved to GI Joe, when I got a Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor, I was very careful with them.
Okay, so yeah, that was your so Star Wars was your cautionary tale.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I remember my Dr. Mindbender had the cape for much longer than Serpentor must have. Because that at least does live in my memory. But yeah, Serpentor, as far as I'm concerned, when I was a kid, I don't think he had his hood or the cape for all that long because I don't remember. I remember my Serpentor never had them. So
I
or I mean, I was gonna say when I played with them, uh, yeah, I don't. His air chariot was unimportant to me when I was a kid. So
I
I
love
think
it.
I had my air chariot, but I don't think it ever had its head. I think
Yeah.
it was one of those that I lost that stuff early on, and I was okay with it. The figures for me were always more important to me, but
I had the air chariot and I'm pretty sure he was always on that, and that's probably what kept him in one piece is because I
uh,
never play with the figure. He was always on my air
but
chariots.
all right, yeah, that's um the the uh the only vehicle I remember having the driver for like and never taking him out was Worms with the maggot. Because
I do have a
later we did a move from one location to another when I was a kid, and there was stuff in storage for a while in between places, and then once we got to the next place, some of the merchandise. Sometimes that would happen when you'd move, especially if there was storage. There'd be a box or two that wouldn't show up, and
yeah.
the maggot never showed up from that move, and neither did Worms. So I'm gonna guess he must have been one of the few vehicle drivers that never left his vehicle, and that's why when I lost one, I lost the other because the vehicles that I didn't have that I had drivers for, um, or the vehicles that I did have the drivers, they were never the price. They hung out with everybody, and I kind of regret that now. But
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and there's so many memories for me attached to GI Joe. Like it's the one property that my very first memories involve having GI Joe figures in my hands. Like my earliest memories are all me holding GI Joes when I was a kid, and I do the math at how long ago that was, and I'm like, it really is the longest lived property in my heart.
Yeah, it really is. Like I don't. So Star Wars would have been my first action figures. I don't own one vintage Star Wars figure in my collection. I
Oh,
have
you don't have any of them now,
no.
like none that you just bought. Just wow,
Yeah,
I didn't. Okay,
yeah.
I've
I
got a few. I mean, all ones that I bought,
sure,
as an adult. But
sure.
so you don't have. Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I do not have one Kenner
wow.
original Kenner
All
vid
right,
Star Wars figure in my collection. In all of
wow,
those thousands of loose figures out there, there is not one vintage Kenner figure.
shit. What's the earliest Star Wars figure you do have? Like, do you have anything going back to like the 1995 Power of the Force? everybody was everybody was on steroids series.
I don't think I have any power. Yeah, I do. Where are you? See, I mean, this is the hard part is finding stuff because
Yeah,
this.
dude,
Oh,
you got that, that line that endless line of toys behind you. It's so much.
yeah, my wife. I'm not usually here when we have like repairmen into the house, and my wife says that anytime any repairman comes down, they just like are speechless.
Just get lost for a while.
Yeah, especially if they're like geeks and what. I think the guy that did either the water heater or the heater was a big uh geek and just lost his shit apparently.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
This is
Um,
probably one of the
okay. Ooh, Imperial Century from the Dark Empire Expanded Universe Star Wars line.
I have
Nice.
I have two of them.
All right.
So I have
That's
them.
amazing. Those guys from '98, I think. Okay, yeah. I think '98. Um, Ooh,
Uh
poster.
I do have a Bomar monk, which was a
Oh,
male figure.
okay.
So that
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had those. I forgot about that till just now.
that
Um,
those probably are my oldest figures in my collection is any of the Shadows of the Empire stuff or
okay.
Dark Empire stuff. Um,
Sweet.
because after that it gets into like 30th anniversary and
I was gonna say, did you buy the prequel stuff when it was out?
I
Or
did
did you
not.
just
No, I
I
didn't.
was gonna say, because you were in I don't know, you were in like paramedic school or something then,
Was
right?
I was in
Yeah.
pathetic school.
Yeah.
Clone Wars stuff. So I've got the
Oh shit, Dirge. Oh, my kid
Clone
loves
Wars Dirge, and
um
think I think I have a Clone Wars Asajj Ventress here somewhere. I've had several of that figure, but I always used it for customs. So I'm not sure I have one in my collection right now, but it's one of my favorite versions of her. So I'd be kind of surprised if I don't, but then again, I'm surprised when I find stuff that's like, how do I not have that in my collection? She would be with the Sith figures. So, oh geez, do I have three of them?
oh Jesus. Oh wow. So you got three of them. You didn't recognize him because he's missing his cloak.
He's missing
Um
a cloak.
um
Huh.
Good addition to the Sith collection. Oh nice.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that he was sitting there. But yeah. Um, so she would be, yeah, there she is.
Oh, hang on. My kid heard Dirge. Hey, do me a favor, hold Dirge back up.
All right, hang on a sec. I gotta go get him. So yeah, there's the
Ooh.
Clone Wars Asajj Ventress.
Ooh.
And then yeah, Dirge. This is the one that came with the he's way in the back there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite figures from that. It's not particularly well articulated. They did do a repaint of this figure and improve the articulation a little bit, but it to me it's they didn't improve the figure. And I don't actually have that figure in my collection because I tried to customize it and it didn't come out well.
It
Uh
happened.
here's a here's another probably one of my older figure stand. Space Trooper.
Ah, okay. It's from the
So
same
that
series. Oh shit.
yeah, so that's a Power of the Force figure, I think.
Yes, it is. Holy shit. Yeah.
So that I have a couple of those. Those are probably my oldest ones. So not a lot of old stuff for
Bye.
um yeah, not a lot of old Star Wars stuff. Most of it's fairly newish.
I was going to say you started going crazy with it when they relaunched the vintage collection, right?
30th anniversary stuff is when I really
Oh, okay, yeah. Which was that just before the vintage collection?
yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't even like I have a few Saga collection figures, but not a lot. But once 30th anniversary kicked off, I got a lot of 30th anniversary stuff. I still have all the McQuarrie figures on the card. Um,
Funny, I have one of those on the card right here, right behind me.
yeah,
McQuarrie Darth Vader. I love that figure so much. I had two of them loose, and I had the carded one.
so I've
Um,
got the McQuarrie
oh,
figures.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, all the McQuarrie figures are still carded. I've got a Darth Revan, Darth Vader with the gold coin, uh, Malik. Um, yeah, those are the 30th anniversary ones I still have on the card there. So
My God, I went crazy with those McQuarrie
yeah,
uh, uh, anniversary figures. I really wish that they would remake all those characters from his art in the Black Series. A couple of them are art, or a couple of them are out. There was a Black Series 2 pack of McQuarrie Vader versus McQuarrie Obi-Wan without the beard. The figure just looked more like Terry Bradshaw than it did Obi-Wan. But like the Terry Bradshaw likeness was amazing and completely accidental, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, I would hope.
they just I would like those like the one painting with prototype Chewie, Han, Luke, 3PO. If they made those in the Black Series, people would go fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Um, I don't understand why they haven't done that now.
I don't know.
That's a huge oversight.
It is when
Um,
you stop and think about it. So I don't have, like I said, I don't have any vintage. We were talking about like the age of the collection, so I don't have any truly vintage Star Wars figures. Um, but as far as like GI Joe goes, uh, my oldest GI Joe figure is I have a straight arm Snake Eyes.
uh, um,
So I have
um,
like 1982 Snake Eyes.
Decent shape.
Oh yeah. It's
Um,
I got it from a friend of the family who really took care of his stuff.
uh, so practically has the squeaky joints. Um,
Yeah.
Nice.
I had to replace he lost the satchel charge, so I had to replace the satchel charge, but he came with the Zuzi. So,
Um,
but yeah, no, I have there's a straight arm snake eyes out there
that's fucking awesome.
it's pretty.
Um, I do have vintage Joes that I've bought as an adult. Um, I think I've got one that survives from when I was a kid, maybe two.
I don't have any
But
of the stuff that I had when I was a kid. All that,
but there are things that they were probably at somebody else's house, and that's why they lasted for so long. And like they managed to not make all the family relocation moves and things like that with us. So a lot of that stuff survived, but I mean, a lot of that stuff didn't even make it out of my childhood, let alone into my adulthood. But I do have some Power of the Force era customs that I made back in the mid 90s. They're embarrassing, or most of them were made in the late 90s. They're embarrassing to look at, but it's interesting to have them.
yeah.
Um, I I remember buying Grand Moff Tarkin to make Grand Admiral Thrawn from
Okay.
uh, before Kenner made Grand Admiral Thrawn in that same series with like the Space Trooper and the Dark Empire Sentry and shit. But then I remember thinking to myself, well, mine's better. He looks more like he's off the book covers than the comic adaptation. But you know, I there's some things that haven't changed well into adulthood. I'm thinking of those figures, and I'm like, nope, they still should not have based that damn Grand Admiral Thrawn on the comic adaptation. But beggars can't be choosers at that time. So
Yeah. So not a lot of old Star Wars. There is a lot of Star Wars stuff out there. There's just not a lot of old Star Wars stuff. But in comparison to the GI Joe, like I said, I've got almost every individual Cobra character. I don't have any like Cobra Commander. I think my earliest I have a battle armor Cobra Commander. I think that's my earliest Cobra Commander. Um, but yeah, like comparatively, like I had every when I was a kid, I had every Kenner Star Wars figure they made. I had them all.
you know what? You're older than me, so you can testify to this. At In 1983, when Return of the Jedi came out, when all the figures were coming out, was there like a stigma around the Jedi figures that I watch a lot of retro blasting, and he's got a Follies video where he complains about when he was a kid at 1983 came along, and half of the Return of the Jedi toys they don't have blasters anymore. They come with sticks. And was that an issue for you when you were a kid, or were you just happy to have the new toys?
I was just happy to have the new toys.
Because what did you think of Ewoks though? Because you're right in that age range of people that grew up and hated them. You didn't like the Ewoks because you were too old for the Ewoks when the movie was released in theaters, and you generally grew up jaded and thinking the Ewoks suck. Where do you fall on that?
The Ewoks suck. Uh,
Well, yeah. So
but
I
as a
love
kid,
Ewok, but I was the
kid,
target demographic for the Ewoks when Jedi was released.
yeah.
So I'm
Well,
like
and
they're right in my wheelhouse. Like
yeah, no,
look at
and
this. I bought this fucking Ewok for $10 off Amazon last week because I fucking had to have it. Because it's
wondered
an Ewok.
when I was going to ask, but I didn't want the answer to it. And
What?
I've learned over the years never to ask questions that I don't want the answers to.
Oh no, please, you have to ask.
I was going to ask if you'd gotten that figure yet.
Oh, yeah, I just got it last week.
And I can't say anything. I can't, as much as I would love to give you shit for it, I can't say anything. I can't say anything, and I'll show you why I can't say anything about that figure.
Even came up with an in-universe explanation for why his fur is pink. He's got like albinoism for Ewoks. It's just it turns him it turns their fur pink instead of white. Oh, you have the I Love You 3000 Iron Man.
That is why I cannot give you shit about your pinky walk.
um, you bought one of those.
Yep. I hate
Oh,
myself for doing it, but so where I stand on Ewoks as a kid, I was a completist, man.
oh, so
I I
you
had
didn't dislike them to the point of not wanting the toys then.
no, I did not have the play set, the Ewok tree play set. Although I would have liked to have had it because it looked like it was a fun toy. But I had all of the Ewoks.
I I had the
One of
Ewok
them was
village, but
super,
eventually my Joes took it over and it became just their base instead
and
of
that's what I would have
Ewok
used it
base.
to. I had a hell of a time getting Wicket. I remember that. There were three Ewoks available as a kid. Chief Chirpa, Wicket, and
Low gray,
Logray.
the
I,
medicine man. Yeah,
yeah,
the follow up releases, they brought a couple of other people like Pat Blue, who he's the Ewok who stole the speeder bike.
yeah.
Um, and then the Power of the Force line, they added a couple more Ewoks, but yeah, those initial Ewoks that you mostly find on eBay without all their hoods and stuff. So you definitely like you had to have all of them. So all right, I'm just glad to hear you at least liked them enough to you know
I
buy them.
remember, I don't remember a lot about collecting from that time frame, but I remember Wicket was an especially hard find for me. That
Um,
that I did not think I was going to get that one, and I found it at one point in time, and I'm like, I it was probably one of those times where my mom's like, "No, you got enough toys at home," and I'm like, "I've been looking for this one for months," and she let me get it.
Here's my Black Series Wicket, and all of the other Ewoks are repaints of Paplu. Well, Tebow is unique. All the rest of them are Paplu repaints, but I need repaints of Wicket to come out too, like some of the smaller Ewoks, because the rest of the Ewoks tower over him, and it's a little bit like tall Ewoks. Like they look like they're playing keep away with this tiny Ewok. So
The only
really I just need more Ewoks in the Black Series line. But,
the only
here's Paplu.
the
I did
only
do one custom of my own. He
uh,
came out okay. You can't really see the gray spots in his fur. It made me want to do some more customs, but when I looked at the Ewoks on the secondary market right now, I'm like, huh, not buying those just to customize.
uh,
They've gotten fucking expensive. I'm like,
crazy.
I'm like, well, damn it, they need to make some more to bring out the fodder again. But yeah, most of them, like even from Amazon, the third party sellers and everything. I'm like, for like eBay prices, they're not cheap.
The
Um,
only Kenner Star Wars figures I didn't have as a kid is I didn't have anything from the Droids line, and I didn't have anything from the Ewoks line.
um, I remember having some of the droids figures, some of the Ewoks figures. Most of the droids figures were repaints from the vintage, like the Star Wars line, like 3PO and R2. They were just repaints of those. In 3PO had more cartoon style coloring. He wasn't back metal, but um, I had a couple of the Ewoks from that line, but they were a lot more cartoony, so they didn't fit in with the rest of my Ewoks. So
That's why I didn't get them.
yeah, so even as a kid, when I was what 84, 85, when those came out, even when I was like 5, I'm like, I had them. I had a couple of them. I probably got them for gifts, but I never mixed them with the rest of my Ewoks. And then by about 88, I still had the Ewok Village, but I didn't have most Star Wars figures anymore anyway. So my Joe's got it. It became their forest hideout. Eventually, they took over Luke Skywalker's land speeder too. I'm pretty sure I just ignored the fact that it looked like a land speeder from Star Wars and just let my Joes drive around in it.
I did the same thing with I had the Dungeons and Dragons Fortress of Fang, which we talked about when we had Marcus on the show because
Oh yeah.
he made one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um,
and that was my Cobra base. I used that as a Cobra base because it was a fucking snake head, man. I mean,
I was gonna say you that's that's like a happy accident for a vintage line like that.
that that right now, like if I won the lottery and could go get a like Grail toy, that would probably be the first thing I would get.
Like a vintage
Fortress,
Dungeons and Dragons
yeah, Fortress of
Fang
Fang.
playset.
Yeah,
Okay. Fang Fortress. Is that what you said it was?
Fortress of Fangs.
Ah, Fortress of Fangs.
Hi,
Okay.
Isabel. Yes,
Um,
I hear you barking at everybody. No, it doesn't need to happen. No, we're not proud of you. Oh, don't give me the hangdog look for not being proud of you. I told her I wasn't proud of her and she hung her head down. So
um,
she's come to get praise for yelling at the neighbors, and I'm giving it to her, even though I shouldn't.
well, she's just looking out for the safety of everybody that, you know, is in your is in Sovereign Hatchistan because
Yeah.
the intruders next door, that's scary. Um, um,
Uh, so what other topics on Real American Hero?
um,
Because I
you
mean,
know,
we've talked about like what we think are the best figures from each year for Joe and Cobra. We've talked about what we think are the best vehicles from those years. What specifically
you
what
know what we never talk about? Accessories. Did you have any favorite Joe accessories when you were a kid? Like guns that you gave the specific characters
did?
or accessories that you had to have to
Yeah.
feel like you could play with the figure? Um, like did you have any or the accessories that you didn't have anymore, but you had like the you know how they had the accessory packs where the
Yeah.
accessories came in all different crazy
Yeah.
colors? Did you have any of those that you were glad to have because you didn't have the original anymore?
It seemed like I did lose a couple of accessories that I had to replace with the accessory packs, but I can't remember because I always thought I was particularly careful about my accessories because I didn't want to lose them because I did lose Star Wars again, cut my teeth on Star Wars stuff. And one of the first things that I remember losing as a kid was the blaster that came with the original Princess Leia.
Ah, okay.
And that is a was unique to her. It never came out again. And it wasn't ever reissued with another figure. And yeah, I lost that and fuck, I hated losing stuff like that. Favorite accessories. I don't know that I had a favorite accessory, but any figure that came with a lot of accessories was a favorite figure. I absolutely loved the accessories. I think that was something that toy lines had never seen before was figures with a lot of accessories because that
Did figures with a lot of accessories ever prompt you to like even if you didn't care for the figure, if you saw the accessories, would it prompt you to buy that character?
there are figures that I bought as a kid that I
Do you have
got.
any specifics you remember?
Ooh, that is a good question. Um, boy, let me look through stuff real quick here. Um, oh man. Um, I know there are, and I just can't think of any off the top of my head that I bought. Monkey wrench I bought for his like trident.
Trident.
Yeah. I did not particularly care for the figure, but I bought it for the gun.
Um,
I think I ended up giving it to Ripper.
I was just about to ask if you gave it to somebody specific.
Yeah.
Um,
I bought definitely bought Monkey Wrench for the gun. Um, hmm, that's the only one that I can think of specifically off the top of my head that I bought for the equipment.
um, I remember most of my divers had blue flippers. They most of my divers never had their regular flippers after a while, but they'd always have the blue flippers, which I think came out of one of the accessory packs. And I
Yes.
remember they had the sheriff flippers. It was terrible. Um, I think they were repaint of I think the eels flippers or something. So I didn't have a regular eel, but I had a bunch of his flippers because of
Uh, Stalker version 2 I bought for the kayak. Uh,
uh
I didn't at the time I didn't particularly care for that particular figure, but I wanted the kayak. That's definitely one that's grown on me over the years, is how awesome that Stalker figure is. Uh,
um
Night
the
Creeper, Night Creeper I bought for the accessories.
um Night Creeper's accessories were one that when I had that figure, when I got him, I remember opening him up and looking at the swords and being like, the one with the wobbly looking blade was kind of neat, but I never understood the point of the other one. It wasn't until much later learning about actual weapons that I realized that they were like poison barbs. But when I was a kid, I was just like, why does this sword look like a stick? I hated that sword.
General Hawk version 1, the flight suit one, I bought that one for the accessories.
Good choice. You
Uh,
know what? He's one that I really want to see in the classified line now that you mention him.
yes,
Um, he would be amazing in classified.
you would be too.
Um,
Snow Serpent version 2 I bought for the accessories.
oh, the snowboard. Yeah.
Uh,
I think I bought that for the snowboard too, because I don't
Same
remember caring particularly much for the figure, but I really like the snowboard.
Eel version 2, I bought that for the shark, the robotic shark.
Me too. Um,
So yeah, there are uh definitely figures that I bought for the accessories. Not as many as you might think. Um I didn't share weapons a lot. Um so like if a figure came with a specific gun, it's like, I'm sorry you got the and I didn't like the gun. It's like, I'm sorry you got the shitty one, but that's your gun, so that's the one you're using, man.
um, yeah, because I remember the accessory packs. Some of them I had like there was like a there was like a red Baroness gun that I had much longer than I ever had a Baroness or her gun. Because I remember one of those where like it was still hanging around even though I didn't have a Baroness anymore. But that I was never crazy about that gun. I wasn't crazy about it in red either, but it was one that I was glad that she had another gun. But yeah, I kind of I kind of remember the Cobra accessory pack, a lot of those more specifically than I remember the original weapons.
Ah,
Because
yeah.
like the Televiper backpack and stuff, um, yeah, I think it was blue in that, and I preferred that with my Televiper. So sometimes those accessory packs wouldn't go to lost accessories; they would go to, oh, I prefer these. There was only a few I remember getting hung up on like that, but
That's
um,
interesting because for the accessory packs, I had most of the accessory packs growing up. Every time they came out, I bought the new one. I think I stopped probably on the fourth one, maybe. Um, but the colors, I never liked any of the colors of any of the accessory packs.
Yeah, there were a couple that I preferred in those alternate colors, and I'm not quite sure why, but like the all green helmets and their or like the tan backpacks, or I don't know why, but I remember those more vividly than I remember the original accessories, and I'm not quite sure why that is.
That stuff that I used it for, like I would load up my like the bay of the hovercraft with stuff for missions, and that it I would fill it up, and that would be all
Okay.
expense. Or I would have use my Fortress of Fang as a Cobra base, and I would fill, one of the side rooms with all the accessory pack weapons, so it was like an armory. I used it,
That's cool.
yeah, I used it
Um,
more for diorama accessories than I don't think any of my figures got any of those weapons because
um,
I never liked the colors that they were, even the ones that some of those weapons came in like a olive drab green, but it was like almost like a neon olive drab green, and it just didn't. I don't know. I'd never liked the colors that they molded the accessory pack weapons in.
I remember very specifically there was a bright green rifle that it wasn't until a couple years later that I realized that it was Ripcord's gun. Like it wasn't until looking at it years later, I'm like, oh, that's just Ripcord's gun, because I never remembered the original. I just remembered having this bright green gun that always seemed like it never belonged anywhere. And that's one of those where I see where you're coming from. Some of the there was a set um with like cream colored like beachheads accessories in like this weird yellow cream color that I remember that one never struck my fancy at all. I'm just like, I don't, what is that color supposed to be? They always looked out of place. All those accessories did look out of place with whatever figures got them.
I think
Um,
one of the hardest, I think what really set me off on that was, of course, I lost Firefly's phone.
oh yeah, well, of course, yeah.
And
Um,
it came with an accessory pack, and it was like maroon,
oh yeah. Now I remember that. Yeah.
and all it did was remind me that I lost the original one in the cool colors. So I think the accessory packs just when
They triggered you more than anything
uh,
else.
they just reminded me that because I do recall there being I couldn't name specifics, but I do recall getting accessory packs having weapons that I had lost, and all it did was remind me that I lost the original weapon. And
Um,
it was just like salt in the wound. It wasn't, oh, at least I have this weapon again. It was like it's the wrong color, and it's not. As an adult, I'm glad that they did do that because I've seen so many people you know, try and pass off accessory pack weapons as original weapons. And it's either people that know what they're doing and they're trying to scam, or it's people that like it's the same weapon. What's the problem? They don't know what it is.
those are people I feel like were trained by Star Wars, because how many of those weapons were available in blue and and black and like gray, but they all came with like all like I think the Star Wars line, I think there's only like three individual blasters and everybody had them.
Yes.
Um, except like Leia, like you said, she came with a specific accessory, but the rest of them, like the little blaster and that Han came with, that was available with all the figures, usually in blue or green or some other crazy
Yeah.
color.
But yeah, the I think G.I. Joe was the I can't think of any toy line previous to G.I. Joe that was so accessory heavy that it was such a unique thing for the time that that's what made G.I. Joe interesting. And it didn't start off that way. They kind of went the way that Kenner did with figures, and it was like, Star Wars guys either got a lightsaber or they got a pistol or a blaster of some sort. Not a pistol necessarily, but they got a blaster or they got a lightsaber, and that's it. There was no diversity in accessories for the most part. I remember getting Yoda and thinking, wow, this figure's awesome. He's got a soft, good cloak and a snake and a cane. I'm like, wow, this guy's loaded. I mean, he came with a ton of stuff. And then we get into G.I. Joe, and it's like my first G.I. Joe figure came with four four pieces of gear, which was more than any Star Wars figure ever did.
I was gonna say it was what Torpedo, right? He
Yeah.
was what the flippers, the backpack, and the spear gun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. And oh, that's true. That must have been like opening and being like, "Well, look at this plethora of gear." Yeah, you know what? People must have. I was too young to remember. I don't remember ever having snow job as a kid, but that must be how the kids felt when they opened snow job. Like kids that were a little older and could
I was
appreciate the
just gonna
accessories.
say, I
They
was
must have gone nuts because he
I
was
was
kind of
just
loaded with
because
gear.
one of my next figures, I think probably my third G.I. Joe figure was Snow Job. And when I tore into that thing, I was in heaven. I'm like, I got a backpack, I got a gun, I got skis, I got ski poles, all this stuff fits on his backpack. I just like this is amazing. And growing up in Colorado,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
so Snow Job I think was like my third GI Joe. I can't remember who my second one was, but he was fuck, I wish I could. Yeah, I don't remember. But Snow Job was like my third GI Joe guy, and there it was phenomenal because I mean, look at all this cool gear that this guy comes with.
um, and he, I do remember, I do remember, um, when I got some of the stuff from like '85. I remember that's when I realized that was the first time my brain said, "Oh, certain accessories belong with these characters, nothing else."
Yeah.
Um, that's why I'm so like crazy about Flint with the shotgun. Flint had a shotgun in '85, and god damn it, Flint needs a shotgun all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm fine with Flint using other weapons, that's cool, but a Flint without a shotgun for me is like that's a that's a that's um
Sacrilege.
yes, there we go. That's a good word for it.
Absolutely.
Um,
Especially some sort of like tactical level of shotgun, not just a not like a Lieutenant Falcon shotgun. Like Flint had something that was meant for like close quarters combat.
yeah. And it went right along with his file card text and everything. Like everything about Flint. I remember finding him at Kmart right here. It's right across the street from where I got my tacos today. It's a self storage place now, but I will always remember it as the Kmart my grandfather worked at. And one of the visits my grandmother took me to so I could go see him at work. We walked out because they had Flint, and I found him at the, and I just enamored with it. That was definitely one of those accessories when I was a kid that I gave mother stuff long after I didn't have him anymore. But I remember getting the Tiger Force version and being like, "Oh, good, he comes with the shotgun too," which is just it's just necessary.
Yeah.
Um, and in fact, the
Okay.
shotgun that I've got with my classified Flint, with my retro classified Flint, I think is from the Fortnite line or whatever. Because even that shotgun, I'm like, it's not it's
Alice
not heavy enough. It doesn't look cool enough with Flint. Um,
Alice has her Luke Skywalker with her.
ah, is she taking him to the Emperor?
Potentially, I don't know what she's doing. She might be trying to feed him to the Rancor that's out there. So
Oh,
there's a battle Rancor on the floor out there. So I don't know what she's doing with him.
um, Your pets have nerd toys too. I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
hey,
she's got
hey,
a
do me a favor. Pause it real quick. I gotta.
uh now I forgot what we were talking about.
um, accessories.
Yeah, so uh
Oh, specifically, I remember classified Flint coming with that. It's a cool accessory, like that big squared off heavy shotgun. It was a terrible Flint accessory, but it was a neat accessory. But
the accessories that I tended to lose most as a kid were the ones with the vehicles.
oh,
Missiles,
like the
gas
drivers that came
cans,
with weapons.
missiles, gas cans,
Oh, I see. Oh, you mean the weapons on the vehicles? Okay. Um,
just any accessory that came off the vehicle. Depth charges for the 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 whale. Um, yeah, I think I lost more accessory vehicle parts that went to vehicles than I did my figures.
um, does that include like the canopies for your or were like the big accessories easier to?
Now the big accessories were pretty easy to find. It was always the little ones. I know I lost the gas cans for the vamp pretty quickly. Um, Missiles for planes. I think I had all the Sky Striker stuff. I think I had all the Rattler stuff, but it seems like I was missing missiles to something. But yeah, it just like I would lose accessories to the vehicles more than I would lose accessories to the figures, I think.
Did any of your vehicle drivers have their helmets? I tell you, none of mine did. Like even like the specific stuff, like Thunder had the three-part accessory for the helmet. I'm pretty sure my Thunder, because I got him from the Malloway set.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure because he definitely came with the original gear, but I don't. I remember having the driver. I remember having Thunder, and I remember having his helmet. I do not remember the other accessories. I just have to assume they were there because Yo Joe said that that figure was included with all of his original gear.
I
But
don't I don't remember losing helmets to vehicle drivers. Like I think one particular was probably Clutch, because I read the comic book so much, and Clutch never wore a helmet in the
oh,
comic.
that's true. Yeah, he never had the helmet on.
He had it on
Um,
once, and on one,
oh, that's right. Issue number one, he's wearing the helmet when he's
okay,
driving the.
twice
Yeah.
he's wearing a helmet because the one where he goes home, they're doing a training mission at the beginning of the comic book, and he just like knocks it off his head when he's headed
Ah,
headed out the door. So I mean, like all of Clutch's appearances, like two, three panels, he's wearing a helmet out of all of the issues that he's in. And Clutch was in a lot of
he was all the way through the end of the Marvel like 155. I'm pretty sure he appeared in most every issue of that 155 issue run. So
yeah, I mean he
um,
Clutch was a very prominent character in the comic book. So I don't think I had the helmet for Clutch very long because he didn't have a helmet in the comic books. So
um I I remember one of the few accessories that always upset me that I didn't have mine was Steeler's visor. I had his helmet, but his visor, it is so specific to him
yeah.
that anytime I see a vintage Steeler without it, I'm just like, it really does complete his look. Um, that's why like later, like the 25th anniversary version of Steeler that came out, never mind that it was just a poor repaint, anyways. But they didn't even attempt anything to make the visor. So like most of his updates haven't had the visor. The comic pack Steeler had a really shitty version of the visor and helmet, but it wasn't the original. It was just like a. It looked like it was a shittily whipped up. Like this was a prototype, but we said fuck it and did the production version, and it was horribly disappointing. Steelers visor is one of those that I look at and I'm just like, without it, Steeler still looks like Steeler, but he doesn't look like he's the tank commander. He looks like he's at lunch if he's not wearing it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, um,
I was trying to figure out why who came with the Hal? Is that Hawk?
the Grand Slam.
Grand Slam. I was trying to figure out why I didn't have Grand Slam as a kid. I'm like, I had the Hal. Why did I not have Grand Slam? Because I did not have Grand Slam. I figured out that I had the mail away.
Oh, okay. So wow, I don't even think I realized the hell was a mail away vehicle. Because I
It
never had one when I was a kid. I didn't have Grand Slam until way later in life. I don't think I knew Grand Slam existed until like the late like the early 90s. I remember looking at a collector's magazine with vintage GI Joe stuff and learning that Hawk version 1 existed and the Grand Slam had not one but two characters that I remembered him from the comic, but I never remembered him having a figure.
yeah.
So you had a mail away hell then. Okay.
Did yeah, because they did a mail at that particular time they did a mail away Hal, MMS, and Whirlwind, and I had that's how I got my MMS and Hal, and I didn't have enough to get the Whirlwind. I think I had enough points, but I didn't have enough money.
Uh um flag points. Boy, I loved collecting those.
Yeah.
Um the um all right, yeah, because the whirlwind and the flak, yeah, they never had figures initially like at all. So in that mail away set, you wouldn't have known the diff, but so you just okay.
I
Um yeah, like the jumps and all that stuff. I never had that stuff float later in life.
think the jump came as a mail away too because I didn't have a figure when I got that.
Um yeah, because I remember getting that one later in childhood too, but I don't know if he came I don't know if that came from somebody else. Like I don't know if uh actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if I didn't even have a jump and I used it at my friend's house because now that I think about it, I didn't have Starduster until I was in college and I could afford him. And my own money. And yeah, I didn't know about Grand Slam when I was a kid. So yeah, the jump must have been one of those things that I didn't get later in life. I
Yeah.
remember it was in the cartoon, but
Oh,
that must not have registered with me when I was a kid. Um,
and it was in the comic books a lot too. Stalker was the one that used it all the time in the comic books.
um, oh, that's right. He's on the jump in the cartoon as well because Grand Slam never appears in the Sunbow series.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think I used and Stalker didn't come with a backpack as ever. So I think that's like I think I did what the comic books did and I gave my jump to Stalker all the time.
um, um, now that I think about it, aside of the talking battle commander Stalker, which had the giant backpack screwed to the figure, Stalker. I don't think Stalker's ever had a back.
I was just
Um,
trying to think about that because I don't
yeah, you're right. Vintage Stalker didn't come with what Grunt, Short Fuse, and Zap all came with backpacks,
Vintage Stalker
but
did not come with one. Version 2 did not come with one. Even the 30th anniversary with that really cool head with the dreads didn't come with one because
shit.
I
Yeah.
tried to use that particular head for a custom and the hair interferes with any type of backpack.
Okay. Oh, that would be one that you would have to use a magnet on. Um, so, oh yeah, the Stalker's never had a backpack. That's sad. Except for that ridiculous one, and that I just remember when I pushed one of the buttons, he'd say blitz him, blitz him. I remember thinking to myself when I was a kid, I don't know what that means. But um, um, man, good times.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It was kind of funny that you mentioned the the Star Wars or the GI Joe stuff today because it's been a lazy summer day today because we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything. The sun was out. I got home from work this morning. I sat out back with the dogs. We just sat out in the backyard. I'm like, it was sunny enough that it was nice outside and windy enough to keep it cool. And I'm like, I feel like I should be out here playing with toys right now. And it was just a very reminiscent day of like reminding me when I was a kid when I would take my GI Joe stuff outside and play outside.
um, man, good times. Good times. In fact, it's been so hot. Like a couple times, I've thought I'm gonna take some of my classifieds outside and photograph them. The other day, I stepped outside just to go out to the car, and I'm like, "Whoo, nope, not today." Fuck no. Hey, there's a heat advisory. Fuck. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I miss talking about vintage Joe sometime, and I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos where people talk about it, and they get nostalgic about certain things they had. I'm like, I want to talk about it. So, um,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just a phenomenal toy line. I mean, it there was nothing else like it. I don't know that there has been anything else like it since that each individual figure was an individual. It wasn't just a figure, it was a character.
with a character, they had a bio on the back. They came with specific accessories. They all had individual, even all the green guys from series one. They're not all the same green guy. They all
Yeah.
there's different heads. There's different shades of green. There's different accessories, and that continued on all the way through. Because you know, funny because I hear interviews with the creators and they're like, "Did you ever think back then that it would be so popular?" They're like, "No, we were just making a toy line." They're
Yeah.
like, "It never would have occurred to us that we would still be talking about these things 30 and 40 years later because it's just they're all shocked at the amount of staying power." But that's because when you think about how many kids in that era they had under their sway with GI Joe, it was like we just wanted all of it.
Yeah.
We're nostalgic for all of it. Um,
And I think that was one of the one of the brilliant things about that is that after 1982, every figure was different. So you couldn't just, you'd look at the back of the card art and see what figures were coming out this year, and not one figure looked like another one coming out that year.
nope. Um,
And you're like, well, I gotta have that one, I gotta have that one. I could probably skip that one if I have to. I don't want to, but
um,
I can't have them all. So, I gotta pick and choose which ones I gotta prioritize which ones I get. And that was the thing about GI Joe is none of the figures looked like any of the other figures. And I think that's one of the reasons that I never really liked any of the like sub team repaints is because they weren't new figures.
um, yeah, when I was a kid, I was fine with all the sub teams, mostly because I think there was a lot of characters they were bringing back out that I was happy to have. But um, I remember to myself always being baffled and fascinated by the color scheme of the Slaughters Marauders because the paint schemes don't make any damn sense. The color scheme doesn't make any sense. The actual way it's laid out on the figures are all fucking wacky. But I always appreciated they were, well, if nothing else, they were certainly different from the original releases. But things like Tiger Force when I was a kid, I love Tiger Force as a unit now as an adult, but as a kid, I remember having some of them, but I don't ever remember them being like a solid unit when I was a kid. I remember almost all of those characters. Like I had Ricondo. I didn't have the original Ricondo, but I had Ricondo now that he came with the Tiger Fly. But I don't ever remember having specific Tiger Force adventures. I remember Duke with the rest of the Joes, Ricondo with the rest of the Joes, Flint with the rest of the Joes. I don't think I ever, maybe Python Patrol, I probably did because I remember I found a letter that I'd written to my dad when he was living overseas at one time that said I only needed one figure left from the Python Patrol. I was 9 and I was writing these things in handwritten letters to my father overseas. My dad laughs that G.I. Joe is still a thing in my life. He just shakes his head because I'm like, yeah, it's really always been there. It's really always been uh, uh, a major fascination of mine. But um, they were probably a unit, but I don't remember like most of the rest of the sub teams being left to their own little. I just remember throwing them with the rest of my Joes because I was like, finally, I have this guy. Like Footloose got replaced. Footloose outright replaced my vintage Footloose because he had a broken bicep, like the peg broke, so he didn't have the. All he had was a sleeve, and uh, but I remember getting the Slaughter's Marauders version, not giving a shit about Slaughter's, just glad to have Footloose again with both arms. So,
Think one of the reasons that I didn't get on board with the sub teams, you came into GI Joe at the point in time when those figures, if you didn't have the originals, that was the way to get those
you're
particular.
right; they weren't available anymore,
Yeah.
anyways. So,
Whereas I got into it in 83. So, I missed most of the initial figures. I did have a Stalker and I did have a Scarlet. I had a Cobra Trooper. I had a Cobra Officer. I think that's about all I had for 82. Um, but
and
that
you
was
got them all later, right?
I did.
Like,
I did.
yeah. So,
Later in 83, because they didn't stay around for very much longer. So by the time those started coming out, the sub teams, I still had those figures. I had the originals.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that's true. So you get
And I was
Slaughter's
just
Marauders in your hand, and
Yeah, because I was just thinking,
you had Mutt, I'm
yeah,
guessing.
yeah, I did. And I was just thinking that, you know what? I don't remember. I lost accessories. Sure. Everybody lost accessories. I don't think I ever lost a figure. So I didn't need to replace any of those guys because I still had them.
Okay. So you just being, yeah, just a little bit older than me, and just at a slightly different point, you're like, it. It's funny how much just a couple of years can
Yeah,
make in a person's early life.
yeah, absolutely. Because I was trying to think about that. And like JD has a pretty good affinity for those because that was your first Recondo. Whereas, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember seeing the card art for Recondo on the back and being like, oh, I've got to get that guy. That guy looks fucking amazing. And
Yeah,
then,
up until that point, getting the Tiger Fly for Christmas that year, my whole frame of reference for Recondo was episodes of the cartoon like Jungle Trap or Red Rocket's Glare, but he had no presence for me in the toy line until that figure.
sure,
So,
and I get that.
um,
Whereas I saw the figure, I knew it was coming out because it was on the back of the Snow Job card, I think, and been like, oh man, I got to get that one when that one comes out. And I don't remember finding him, but unfortunately, I don't remember buying a lot of my figures. I kind of wish I still had those memories, but I don't. But, Ricardo was a particular favorite, so I was very careful with his weapon and his backpack and made sure I didn't lose those because I played with him all the time. And yeah, when when the repaints came out, I'm like, I don't need it because I still have mine. I still have all of his weapons.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
Um,
that's why I never got into the sub teams. And like, because I was trying to think about that too. I'm like, how come JD really got into these and I didn't? It's because I still had all the original figures.
Yeah, this is where we mentioned to the audience. Yeah, there's 7 years between us, and that's just enough to be a huge difference. And yet, like in our childhood memories with things, but I do remember there are certain figures that I specifically remember picking up off the shelf. Flint is one of them. The Alley Viper and Snake Eyes version 3 or another one in 89. I remember getting them off the pegs at Toys R Us. My mother and my grandmother were with us. They didn't care. They just buy me the stuff. And I remember playing with them as soon as I got back to Nana's house. I have a lot of fond memories of playing with Joe's at Nana's house in the front. And like that's where I remember my fascination with the Hydro Viper started because I saw him on the back of the card for Muskrat and I had to have it. And then after that, they were always fighting with each other. Um, they kind of, I don't remember a lot of specific matchups when I was a kid the way I used to play, but Muskrat and the Hydro Viper were always, yeah, they didn't like each other. So,
And the one figure that I still remember finding it at Target was Storm Shadow,
uh, um, um,
the original '84 Storm Shadow.
that must have been exciting.
Yeah, I was looking for him and Firefly. I'm like, those are two I have to fucking have those figures.
Did
And
you ever lose Storm Shadow's accessories after you had him?
I lost his nunchucks.
But you had the most. His swords were the most important thing, so at least you had those.
Yeah, because his swords and his bow went into his backpack, so they were easy to keep track of.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
So
it is no wonder that you're fascinated by backpacks that carry all the gear because it has always been there for you when you were a kid. Um, because uh, I remember sometimes getting getting figures and being okay with them having fewer accessories, but I just remember there were some guys that had a lot of accessories, like Psych Out. I never knew what the fuck to do with any of Psych Out's gear. When I was a kid, I didn't know. He wasn't in the cartoon, so that gave me no frame of reference. He showed up a couple of times in the comics, but he didn't have his little fucking radar dishes all over him. I didn't know what the fuck to do with those. The card art wasn't very convincing for me. And I just remember thinking to myself that he, even now as an adult, I'm just like, I don't know what they were going for with that, which is why I'm glad the classified version has gone a different way with the accessories.
that was one that even though he came with a lot of accessories, I gave him his pistol and that was it. That's the only thing he had.
So you had Psych Out when you were a kid, but you weren't so it doesn't sound like you were enamored with him.
No, and which is, as an adult, I'm like, I have a lot more. I kind of want the Psych Out that's coming out because that's more like what I imagined him to be. And I worked with the psyops guy um, a few
Oh,
years
you
ago.
know a psyop. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he can tell some stories. Um,
I can
so I
imagine.
actually, yeah, I know I worked with a psyops guy, and there was a psyops where we were at in Afghanistan too. So I never interacted with those guys, but I knew that they were there. Um,
They
but
must have had stories too.
oh yeah, I can't imagine because yeah, the guy that I knew, he was in the thick of it. He was down in the Helmand province where it was hot all the time. Um, but yeah, I gave him his pistol, and it's like I didn't know what to do with him because I didn't know what psyops was at the time. But now that I do, it's like I think it's awesome that they are doing a more realistic military version of Psych Out because I think it's probably to me Psych Out should be one of the like more integral characters for GI Joe because there is so much shit that he could be doing.
I mean, for one thing, if you just think about it, just if he's in a support back at the base situation, he's a psychiatrist. He's got all these people coming back from the field. They got to talk to somebody. When they can't sleep, they got to talk to somebody. And can you imagine the shit he psych outs heard from other Joes things they can talk about, and he's probably just thinking to myself, well, I'm glad they can't talk about some of that with me because um um I doubt he gets a lot of conversation with Snake Eyes, but can you imagine?
Yeah.
Um,
But at this,
I do feel like Psych Out probably knows sign language though, so he can talk to Snake Eyes, but
he has to. Just knowing what I know about mental health stuff, if he has to be ADA compliant
um
these days.
do you know sign language?
I don't. I wish I did. 'Cause
Okay.
I needed it the other night, and I don't. I didn't. I
Oh
don't.
shit.
Yeah.
Um
So,
um
but we have an app on our iPads that we can get translators.
ah
So I can but what I couldn't do it because I would have needed to do telehealth with this guy, and I need the iPad for that, but I also would have needed the iPad for the translator, so it's like I would have needed it twice for two different programs, so it wouldn't have worked.
um all right, they'll find a way around that limitation at some point.
They will.
Um
I'm surprised
so
I have
Psych Out's one that Psych Out's role on the team when I was a kid, I had him, but I remember not really knowing what to do with him because he didn't look like he fit with the rest of the and I remember getting the Night Force version in that 2-pack and just thinking to myself, well, the colors are better, but I still don't know what to do with this guy.
I,
Um
I didn't even know the Night Force stuff was a thing because there wasn't a Toys R Us near me.
um
So
I
I
only got Night Force from as Christmas gifts in that first year of them because there was a Toys R Us right here in Niagara Falls, and that's where they were exclusive to. And I didn't know about them until my grandparents got them for me when I opened them on Christmas. And a couple of the 2-packs were in this J.C. Penney or whatever Sears gift box. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know what they were. I'd never seen them before. And I didn't see them again until years later with the internet. And I realized that there was a whole bunch of those that I didn't have. So, like I had most of the first year Night Force stuff. I didn't have any of the uh I don't think I no, I take that back. I had Night Force Shockwave, so I must have I don't know who he was included with, but I had that too because I remember having him, nothing else. So
which, kind of sucks because out of all of the repaints, the Night Force ones are the ones that I would pick up if I could.
um, you know, I'm gonna look up who did Night Force. Let's see, Night Force.
Bye, Isabel. Be sure and yell at people for me.
Night Force Shockwave. Night Force Shockwave. Um,
Because I don't think there is a bad Night Force figure.
there's a couple. There are a couple Night Force releases that I question the
What year
need for,
did come
like
out?
Charbroil. Yeah, Charbroil, the guy with the flamethrower, always seemed like that would be counterproductive if they're on the stealth ops. He was a weird choice. I
I could see that.
Lightfoot made perfect sense.
Yes.
Psych Out made perfect sense. Sneak
Yeah.
Peek made perfect fucking Sneak Peek and Tunnel Rat. They made perfect fucking
Yeah.
sense for Night Force. But
Outback did some
Charbroil, eh,
Outback Crazy Legs. Yeah, I mean I like all of those figures. I don't have any of them in my collection, but I don't think there is a bad Night Force figure. Uh yeah, Charbroil is a bit weird. I'll give you that for sure.
um,
But yeah, out of all of those figures, I think all of them are
Night Force Shockwave was in a 2-pack with Lightfoot version 2. All right. I do remember having Hershey bars Lightfoot. Um, I remember Yellow Lightfoot had an accident. I left him on a light bulb that was plugged into a nightlight. I don't know what I was going for. I think I was trying to see if it would battle damage him. Oh, it battle damaged
Um,
him.
I'll bet it.
Melted his ass to the light bulb. Like I remember holding the figure up, and the top half of it was just melted plastic and that held the shape of the light bulb. So I remember being glad that I had the Night Force version, or I must have been glad I had the Night Force version, even though I don't remember having him, but I had Shockwave.
Yeah,
The rest of that I didn't have.
you're
So,
probably lucky you didn't burn down the house with that.
oh, trust me, I know. In fact, when my parents found it
Oh,
later,
that's
because
pissed. I was just gonna say, I bet mom was pissed.
oh yeah, I don't.
I can just imagine what
That
mom's
was a
done now,
that
but
was a very long.
yeah,
What's the word I'm looking for? There was a long aftermath to that one because
yeah, I can.
when I was a toddler, there was a house, there was an apartment fire where we lived. So my parents were deathly afraid of fire. Like
Oh,
they were always. So when they found that later, I remember I was 11 years old. I remember where we were living, the house we were living in, and they found it. And yeah, I was in trouble for a while after that.
I'll bet. Yeah, I can just imagine mom. I can just hear her now yelling at you.
it's one of those things where at the time, I think I knew that I deserved to be in trouble,
Yeah,
but I just remember being bothered that my experiment went in a different direction than I wanted it to, and then not regretting it until later. So
I can see that.
childhood misadventures.
Right. I think again, Star Wars. It's kind of interesting now that I think I hadn't thought about this until you had started talking about how we need to do like a reminiscence show. But Star Wars was another one of those things that I remember breaking my Bespin Leia figure. The head came off. And I remember my dad yelling at me for breaking it. I'm like, I didn't do it on purpose. The figure just broke. And then I asked him to fix it, and he's like, yeah, I can fix that. I'm like, sweet. He just super glued the head back on. I'm like, well, the head doesn't swivel anymore. And he's like, you can't fix it any better than that. And I think that's one of the things that got me into customizing was like, there's got to be a way to fix this to get the articulation back. And but
I
I
think your dad's a dick.
my dad was a dick. But I remember I was like, I didn't play with that particular figure, but it just like broke my heart that I broke her. And it was broken and the repair was so shitty that I was like, I was very careful with my toys after
You were
that.
scarred by it.
It was, yeah. I was very, I had everybody had busted thumbs on their Joes or busted crotches. I had a couple of those. You couldn't get around those, especially with anything that had like oversized handles for weapons.
Anything that came out in the straight arm year, like if you even look at straight arm Zapron, his fucking thumbs are, if they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
already broken, oh, they're gonna break.
Yeah,
Um,
and see, I never had that figure, so I did not. I was trying to think who.
I had a straight arm short fuse that didn't have any of his digits. In fact, he's appropriate for the 4th of July, honestly.
Yeah,
But he's the only early Joe I remember having broken. They probably all did. He's the only one I remember he couldn't use his gear. He was mangled.
I know I had a couple that had broken thumbs, and I for the life of me can't remember who. And I know I had a couple that had broken crotches, and again, I can't remember for the life of me who. Um, I think Rock Viper was one that I broke the crotch on.
Well, Rock Viper, even now, if that's another figure where if you breathe wrong around it, the crotch might break if you have a vintage one that somehow isn't already broken. Um,
Mine is not. I have the one in my collection still is not is intact. But that's like my second or third. a rock viper. And the it's kind of funny because the Toys R Us Python Patrol one is a lot more resilient.
They probably use better plastic on it.
That would be my guess. Because my
Um,
I've had a couple of those and I've never had problems with them, but I've definitely busted rock viper crotches as an adult because I've had several for that I've used over the years for customs, and then the one in my collection I made sure, and I have because I remember buying a second one just for the crotch. I've got I've got the parts for the one I bought for the crotch somewhere here. I remember coming across them a couple weeks ago, going, "Oh, this is my other rock viper that I bought just for the crotch for my the one
you
in."
should find a protective plastic case to put it in just in case. Um,
I should.
um, he's a he's one of those. He's a notoriously fragile crotch, like Dusty, Dusty version 2, or I mean, original Dusty, Tiger Force Dusty is somehow even worse than Dusty
I
for
think I have.
broken crotches. Beachhead's bad for broken crotches. Um,
I think I have. It's see, I'm not really sure. I don't. I'm a Cobra guy, so I don't remember which Joes I have. I'm pretty sure I have Dusty version one.
I had Gung Ho when I was a kid, and I remember he was all floppy, but I had him, and he was my only Gung Ho until I got the 1987 version. Um,
I
but
never.
he never quite felt like a replacement for version 1, so
Oh
I
yeah,
wonder why.
here we go. Dusty version one.
With crotch.
Yeah, I don't have his bipod, but and do
Well,
I have a? Yeah, I do have a. Oop,
ooh, nice.
Beachhead
I'm
version.
gonna guess you don't have a Tiger Force Dusty.
I do not.
I'm gonna guess not once in your life have you ever considered buying a Tiger Force Dusty.
No. The only Tiger Force figure I would consider getting is Beachhead, oddly enough.
Oh, and you did make a custom of him.
I did.
That club's version of Night Force Beachhead. You know what? Night Force, or excuse me, Tiger Force Beachhead. He was one that I was actually hoping might make it into the classified line, but he didn't.
Yeah,
Not that he won't, but so far he hasn't. And
yeah,
I'm less optimistic about that than I used to be.
I did do. Where is he? Should be easy to find. I actually have done a couple Tiger Force customs.
Yeah, because I know you did. I know you did Beachhead. I don't know. I don't remember if you've done. I mean, I don't remember what other ones you've done. I just remember really liking that Beachhead. Um,
And this is why I like having my customs loose now. Is 'cause-
oh, oh yeah. It's beautiful.
yeah, that one came out pretty nice. I'm
And
happy.
you did faithfully recreate the vintage, the O ring, the O ring Tiger Force Beachhead, which was not vintage, but was a club release in 2004. This for the benefit of anybody who isn't familiar with that figure. But he was one that I was hoping they'd translate for classified, but oh well, at least they translated Tiger Force Outback for. Oh, dude, that looks good. Um,
Yeah, that was the other Tiger Force custom
is
that
that's a that the club made that?
no, that's my custom.
Okay, I was gonna say no because I swear to God they made Outback and they fucked it up. So
I think
sorry
they
you didn't hold it up for that long, so I couldn't.
here,
Um, ah, oh sweet. Um, dude, that backpack he's got everything in there.
yeah.
Um, um,
So that's
that's that's fantastic.
I think those are the only two Tiger Force customs I've done. I haven't done any other ones. Yeah, those are the only two Tiger Force customs. That's I do as much as I enjoyed having all of my customs on a card, I like being able to get at them now too. So yeah, those are the only Tiger Force. And then I don't have any Tiger Force figures. And I don't have any, I do have some of the Python Patrol stuff, but not a lot.
You needed those for your specialty Viper collection.
Yeah.
Um, oh,
Uh,
that's right. Because I remember you found a
I have a
found a
tel
deal on a Tiger Force Televiper that you had to jump on because he didn't have the chip nose.
right.
And I remember saying, "My God, I thought it was a myth. I didn't know those existed without chip noses."
You know, the other one that's really hard to get without a chip nose is Snow Serpent.
Version one with with the face mask. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
That one
Um,
is super hard to get without I think even mine has a chip nose on it, honestly. I would almost guarantee that mine has a chip nose. Um, I'm pretty sure I know where he's at. Yep, there he is. Yep, he's got a paint rub on his nose.
damn it.
Oh, but I think I have two. Do I have two snow serpents for some reason? Boy, oh, that's oh, he has a busted O-ring.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how I try and look at the figures about once a month, and a lot are really hard to tell when the O-ring has busted.
well, at least you didn't find him in pieces on the floor. Um,
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll take out when the O-ring busts, they'll take out their neighbor.
yeah, exactly. There's a slingshot. There's a um um
Collateral damage.
yeah, there we go. Um,
But yeah, I do. I like I said, I wish I had a better way to organize to catalog what I have because I honestly didn't know I had 285 snow serpents. But we're gonna do a little surgery here because I have a whole bag of O-rings I bought from Small Joe's. So because I
uh,
try and look at my guys about once a month and see if I can see anybody that needs surgery, O-ring surgery. Ooh, didn't want to come off of there. There we go. So,
hey, you want me to unbox Blanka?
oh yeah, completely forgot about that.
Me too. So we always joke that gimmicky figures are something that Brian cannot resist, especially like in toy lines he already collects. Gimmicky figures or gimmicky packs will usually get him to bite, even if it's something that's not his preference. I'm not usually that much, but occasionally a thing will come along. And glow in the dark Blanka from the Street Fighter, from the Jada Toy Street Fighter line was an absolute must have.
Yeah,
Exclusive to Entertainment Earth, but I had to pay their exorbitant shipping cost because I needed a glow in the dark Blanka. It was like it wasn't like I want it. It was like a biological need that I had to have that in my collection. Um, so it comes in the standard Street Fighter packaging, but even on the back, they've got them glowing in the dark. And I don't know. It's just so snazzy looking. Um,
oh, I looked at it. Believe me, I was like, "Ooh, do I need a glow in the dark blanket?" Oh, no, I don't. Because if I get a
um,
glow in the dark blanket, then I gotta get a cami figure, and I don't like I no.
wait, say that again.
I was like, if I get one figure, then then I gotta get one of the characters that I like, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Blanka will lead the cami, and
Yeah,
Cammy will lead to
player two. Yeah,
more. Um,
yeah, because if I get one cami, then I need the player two version to go with her.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
as you are living vicariously through me for Operation Monster Force, I am living
exactly.
vicariously through you for Street Fighter stuff.
Um, yeah, because Brian always says it would be hard not to be a completist with the Street Fighter line, and I agree with that. Some of them would actually be it's beautiful.
This
Oh, it's beautiful,
I don't remember getting this, but it
dude.
looks like it just came out of the package.
Yeah, dude, with the parachute pack and all the vintage gear. Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't have the
Um,
missile launcher for him.
oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize it was missing. I just thought it was attached to the backpack.
No, I don't have. This is my second one, so I do have another one that is complete. Um, the
Well, that is arguably the least important accessory. Um,
Is there such a thing as the least important accessory? I don't know.
well,
Not to me. I
this
don't
is
know why
true.
I don't know why I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Um, hang on.
Yeah, let's go put him back real quick.
Oh, you might.
So yeah, I find these guys every once in a while. I'll pick one up to look at it and like, oh nope, his O-ring's busted. Here's a rare one for you.
Oh shit. Oh, Malloway, Snow Serpent version 3.
Yeah,
And it's not even horribly discolored
it's not.
because that is a common problem with that figure because it's a great color scheme. But whatever the fuck that plastic, that light blue plastic was they used, that just does not age well at all in most cases. So whoever had that before, they took care of it.
Yeah, it never saw sun. I saw that. I got that a couple years ago. I saw that on eBay. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Look at that. And it was a decent price. I'm like, buy it now, 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 buy it now,
I
buy
was
it.
going to say that was like a once in a lifetime find.
Or actually, I think I got that from, I don't think I got it out of eBay. I think I got it from somebody that was selling stuff on Facebook. Uh,
Ah,
ooh, whatever that snow serpent, whatever you want for that snow serpent is, I'll take it.
so they have all the hundreds of little plastic bullshits that hold the figures in. But
Yeah.
before I take them actually out, you could see you could see the glow in the dark plastic, but
Yes.
it's just so hang on. It's really similar in color to the flavor one. And I love the fact that he's not wildly noticeably like a crazy green.
Yeah.
Like I love like it's not dark enough for me to try it out the glow in the dark feature, obviously, but they could have gone with a much more distracting green, and I'm so glad that they didn't.
It's funny you should say that because I was going to mention how unique the shades there's only a couple different colors that they'll use for glow in the dark. The two big ones are green and blue, and they're very unique shades of those particular colors. And if I cannot think of a more perfect figure or more perfect character for a glow in the dark figure than Blanka because that glow in the dark color is like half a shade off his normal color.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe they did it. Like I don't know how they came up with it, but boy, am I glad they did. I put the roaring head with him just as a because it's just such a big improvement over the Growly head, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, I think
Um, but oh, and I'll put them up next to the player two, Blanka. So yeah, because really the player two Blanka and the player one Blanka, like I love the contrast between these colors. And I just can't believe that holding up the glow in the dark figure is not jarring. It's not distracting.
not at all.
It's not, it's not, doesn't draw attention to itself. And it's really fucking cool. And
Yeah.
I really can't wait to see how it glows
I'm
tonight.
trying to
Because if it glows well enough to take a picture of, I'm going to send you pictures of it glowing in the dark.
uh
Because I have seen a few pictures of it online and the glow does look like it's good, but I don't know if individual people taking these pictures have lighting that can help out with things like that or
what
not.
what I can talk you through that. Um so we can either talk about it right now, which is a good topic.
Yeah,
Uh
dude, go for it.
so what you need to do to get a good picture of that is use a long exposure. To get a good long exposure, you need something to hold. If you and I'm talking for the people that are using, it doesn't matter what camera you're using, whether you're using a digital, like a DSLR like I use, which is a digital single lens reflex camera. That's what DSLR stands for. Like this. This is a professional level camera.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude.
Or whether
Some of
you're
your
using a,
camera lenses are bigger than sniper scopes.
yeah, so whether you're
Um,
using a camera like that or whether you're using your smartphone, the trick is a long exposure and what you need something to hold your camera while you take the picture. So a tripod of some sort. So didn't you get a tripod, like the cheap tripod?
yeah,
So put your
yeah, I've got a cheap tripod. Yeah.
put your camera on the tripod before you take your picture, and then let this let it try and do it. Make sure you turn your flash off and let the phone decide how long the exposure needs to be, and you should get a pretty decent one.
Okay. Hey,
I have
hey,
one.
look at this. Player one and two Blanka can do the meme from Predator with the forearm and the the uh the secret handshake.
We should do a show on gimmicky figures. Here is my
Yeah,
favorite.
dude. Fuck yeah. What is that?
That is one of the Praetors from Valorverse.
Oh, I assume that glows in the dark.
That one glows in the dark.
That's badass looking.
I was just trying to think if I had any glow in the dark figures, and I think that's the only glow in the dark figure that I have.
The only drastic difference between these two figures are the bands, the shackles around his ankle are
Ah,
silver here, and they're copper here. But I I may swap them around. Um, but I really man, I really dig this glow in the dark figure. I can't wait to see this thing glow.
oh yeah, I can't either.
Um, this yeah, is awesome. I just like you said, the color match is just so
Perfect.
yeah. Like they really, boy, am I glad they did this. If
Got a lot of translucent figures, but I think that's the only glow in the dark figure that I have. Because G.I. Joe never did any glow in the dark stuff.
uh just the stickers on the vintage Night Force vehicles.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Um, I've got a lot of translucent figures. I've got a couple translucent Predators. I've got a couple of the hologram Star Wars figures. Um, there's a couple Iron Man figures that were translucent. Um, what else is kind of gimmicky? I've got another one of the Valorverse figures that's translucent. The new Monster Force exclusives, all most of those are translucent figures.
Yeah, one of those guys is like he's translucent, but it's like a translucent purple. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
Uh,
Um,
I still have one in the bag. There you go. That's kind of a cool shot.
oh fuck yeah, with the light behind it, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. I have two of them because I have one that's loose. Actually, I think I might have three of them because I think that's the one that I bought, thought got lost in the mail. So I bought another one and then they both showed up.
Ah, nice.
Here's another translucent. Ooh, everybody's gonna get knocked over here. No, don't fall, don't fall. Here's another. It's a knockoff, but it's a really cool knockoff.
Oh,
That is
ooh,
Ghost Starscream. So
ah, oh wait, does he have the crown?
no, because that
Oh,
was
okay.
he got killed after that, I think.
Ah,
I don't
well,
think
I
I
mean, I thought he. Oh wait, no, that's right. The crown falls off of his head, and Galvatron steps on it.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah,
it's a knockoff, but it's like one of the coolest knockoffs. I'm
I was gonna say it's fucking awesome.
yeah, that's one of my favorite knockoffs for sure. Trying to see what other gimmicky figures that I have. Oh, I think one of the Bane figures from the DC line glows in the dark. I think this might be glowing. It's translucent for sure.
Ooh, ooh. Oh, I like the X-ray thing going on.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might glow in the dark. I don't remember on that one.
Um, um, well, you don't have a lot of DC stuff. It's interesting to see like a character like Darkseid in your collection.
That's not
Um,
so that's Bane.
oh, wait, that was Bane. Pick that back up.
Yeah, it's Bane.
Hang
It's
on.
from
I thought that was Darkseid painted as like an X-ray guy. Wait, that's Bane.
yeah.
Huh. All right.
I've got the original here next to
Huh. All right. Well, I feel dumb.
well, it's hard to tell if when it's backlit. Here's the original.
Oh, all right. Okay. You're definitely Bane then. Okay. Yeah. Hard to tell in the translucent. Yeah. He just, the way he was built, he had, then like this, his big blocky head, it was like a Kirby drawing.
Yeah.
Um,
So that was from the 4-inch DC. Gosh, I can't remember the name of that line now.
I'm going to guess the line didn't last as long as you wish it had.
It didn't, but they did do a significant number of figures. I think there's at least 20 figures in the line.
God damn.
And yes, I have them all. They did stuff from Hush because there's a Hush figure. They did stuff from the 89 and 90 movie because there's a Danny DeVito penguin and um,
Catwoman.
Catwoman. Yeah, there's a Catwoman figure, Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, and a the Batman. There's unmasked Batman too. The resemblance to Michael Keaton is not particularly strong, but you can tell that's what they were going for. But yeah, I was all over the 4-inch DC stuff. And the articulation, I mean, they're interesting figures because they're better articulated than they have any right to be because they look like 5 points of articulation figures, but they actually are fairly decently articulated. And I think my Robin might be from Marcus because he was the only one that was able to find the Robin figure. It was a particularly hard one to get.
Sorry, I was taking a picture. I didn't. It didn't occur to me it would block the camera until I moved it. So trying to take a picture of the two Blankas next to each other, but they take up a lot of room. It's hard to get a like
Yeah.
without having a. God, they're so fucking cool. I don't know which I'm gonna hold them up again. I don't know which of these figures I like the best. I just know that I'm glad I have both of these, and now I'm okay. I've forgiven myself for fucking up version 1, so I'll just send it to you and be happy.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say wait till you get your version one back after I've painted it.
yeah, cause but yeah, it's definitely this, definitely, definitely,
Except for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I've made my penance for this unnecessariness. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to screwing around with that. There's some stuff that I want to try on that just to see if I can do it. So I'm
uh, dude, I can't wait to see what you do with it. So, um,
it won't
but
suck, but I can't guarantee that it'll be fantastic either.
dude, I just want to see what you. I just want to see what Go Figures Customs will do with it. Just I want to see it pop. I know it'll be awesome. So, um,
Yeah, I'm
not
looking.
looking for anything earth shattering. I just want to see your paint techniques just really capture this big beefy bastard.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to screwing with it. That's for sure.
Um,
So because there's stuff that I want to try that I don't know if I can do. So I'm looking forward to trying it. But yeah, we ought to do a show on gimmicky figures at some point in time, and then like a show on like gimmicky figures and gimmicky packaging.
fuck yeah. Um, so yeah, we should plan that. But anyways, about all we had for this episode. Well, we didn't have much of anything. We just
Ah,
wanted to kick back and talk toys for a while.
absolutely.
Um, um. So yeah, I just want to say, if you celebrate, Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
250 years. We're been a while. So we're it's uh yeah. Oh, I hear the firework, like the neighborhood fireworks starting to go off in the down the block. So, oh boy, um, your dogs will start going crazy fairly soon too, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna get as soon as we get done, I'm gonna set up my iPod to start playing music so that they get used to music, and then I'm gonna bring dog beds down. We'll get them fed. Oh, they're fed. I'm not watching the time, so they should have been fed 45 minutes ago.
Well, when I got up to
I
feed
should
the
have fed.
cats before, I thought that they hadn't been fed but it turns out they got fed about 20 minutes before we started doing this. One of the cats successfully tricked me into doing a second feeding. It doesn't happen very often, but that little shit. Um, so, um,
All right, so yeah, that's all we got for this particular episode. It's probably a long one, so if you stayed through the whole thing, we appreciate it. Um,
and if you didn't, well, we forgive you. So,
Yeah, that's understandable because this was not when we had planned on doing it because neither one of us was going to go out for the fourth, and we wanted to do it. The one thing that I didn't mention that I do want to mention, I think we had mentioned already, is that JD and I will be at RetroCon
yeah,
this
yeah,
September. We are both going to be there, and we have decided that we will be at Joe Fest next year.
yeah. I mean, we're at least gonna try for it, barring unforeseen. Yeah, we're gonna because I keep looking at the pictures, and every year it looks like a ton of fun. And just got to get prioritized, I guess. So,
Yep. And
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that it. I
we
think we need
talked
to
about doing a
shoot
GI
for
Joe
it.
convention together at some point, but most of the times that it would have worked, I was overseas and missed most of those. So I could never get to one. And we just JD's like, hey, how about we do Joe Fest next year? And I'm like, I don't know. And I mentioned to my wife, and she's like, I think that's a great idea. You should do it. I'm like, okay then.
Um, yeah,
So
I think. I mean, it's been going strong for
five,
7 years or something
five,
because it predated COVID by like 2 years. Because it was like a year or two after the last official Joe Con
yeah,
that they started it, and it gets bigger every year, and it looks like fun.
yeah,
So, and it's got everything GI Joe there except an official Hasbro presence, but everything else is there, like ancillary toy lines, Joe fanatics, panels, people that worked on the Joe line. Like they get all these guests in there, so it's like unofficial or not, it's the closest thing to an official convention that exists anymore. And yeah, it looks like fun. I'm gonna go. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah. I mean, they get artists, they get people, voice actors that worked on the show, they get artists that worked on the cartoon, they get people that worked on the toy line. It's yeah, it's as good as the I've never been to the JoeCon, but I think it looks like it's getting to be as good as the official one was.
yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. So,
It's definitely getting the attendance. Um, I don't know that we've had the we did we ever have the owners? Because I know
mm-mm,
we're friends on
mm-mm.
Facebook and we had talked about having them on the show, but I don't know that we.
Should have him on next year before it happens.
Yeah, because I've
Uh,
got him as friends on Facebook.
yeah,
So
his name is Ed. But yeah, I want to shoot for that because it's definitely something we got to do at some point. And next year seems next year seems perfect for it. Um,
yeah, and I know Panama didn't go this year, so maybe Panama can go next year.
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
So,
get
um,
another reunion tour going. So, all right. Yeah, so that's all we got for this particular episode. As always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. We don't use AI in any process.
hell no.
This is
Um,
all us. And as always, thanks for watching.
thanks everybody.